Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 16th of July, 2020. This is The Gap, episode 525. I'm Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and boy, do I have a proposition for you, Joab. And it's a good one. I'm going to offer you the chance to get rich quick. And
yes,
it's legit, 100% legit. All right?
Okay.
All you need to do is send me $1,000 in Bitcoin, and I'll send it back to you, but I'll double it. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have $1,000 in Bitcoin, but I can get it, and then you can double it.
Mm.
What's the catch?
I need it in the next 30 minutes.
I guess I could try. How are you doubling it?
I'm mining for more Bitcoins using the Bitcoins you've given me.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of fucking
just don't
Ponzi
think about
scheme
it.
shit is...
Just give me the money, all right? Trust me.
Just
trust me. Look, Obama's doing it. Bill Gates is doing it. Elon Musk is in. There's a lot of people that are in.
Is that the case? Is it? What the fuck is going on? What have I woken up to? Like, everyone's banned on fucking Twitter or some shit, and now you're trying to scam me out of $1,000 of Bitcoin. What is going on?
I don't know. So apparently Twitter got hacked.
Twitter got hacked.
Yeah, and so somebody has managed to put like a message on people's verified Twitter accounts saying like, send me Bitcoin and we'll double it.
So amazing.
It's gone to the point where Twitter basically stopped people that were verified from posting until they could figure out what was going on. I think it's only just come back in the last like half an hour or so. But yeah, it's been an interesting morning. I'm sure they're not impressed with that because
this is extra funny. I got an email from the PR agency that handles Twitter in Australia earlier this week saying, "Hey, Joab, I'm such and such won't be chatting with you anymore. She's moved on from the company, so I'll be handling things for Twitter from now on. Got some very exciting news for you real soon." And first of all, I'd never heard from them before. I didn't know who this person was. I didn't know who the other person was. Nobody from Twitter has ever fucking reached out to me. And I was very confused. And then this must be the exciting news. They're like, well, we've completed our 11-year-long scam to rope everyone into our social network so that we can scam a couple hundred people out of $1,000 worth of Bitcoin.
Right. But you know what you need to do now is...
What?
Is this person left? Have they gone completely?
The previous person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume. I don't know.
Like left the company, not just leaving the account. Right. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. You're going to email this new person back and be like, hey, myself and Lawrie from one of the best podcasts in Australia, we're still waiting for our verification on Twitter to come through, and other person was looking after it, but they've left now. Can you follow it up and see what's going on? And that's how we get verified.
Chase it down, and the podcast. We'll get the podcast account verified as well. People would be so fucking whacked out.
Yeah.
This podcast that literally only tweets once a week on auto. I don't even know if it tweets all the time because I don't know what you do in them, but like my mutes catch. I've got so many mutes on Twitter, so I have to fucking listen to things. And my mutes catch them all the fucking time. So I just don't retweet them.
You don't see it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's weird. Whatever. Fucking technology is a mystery to me.
So it'll be good. This time next week we'll be verified by the looks of it.
We'll be scamming people out of their fucking Bitcoin, baby.
Yeah.
We can end the charade that was this fucking podcast, which we started out as obviously a Bitcoin scam. Around the same time that Twitter started. Like, we both had, Twitter and us had the exact same ideas at the same time. Run an 11-year-long scam run an 11-year-long grift to scam people out of their Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency that didn't yet exist at the time. And now it just seems like Twitter's pulled the trigger before we were ready. You know, they didn't let us know, but well, Here we go. Now we just have to scramble. That's what it's like in the high-flying, highfalutin scam life that is being a grifter podcast. That's what the G in GAP stands for, grifting. And we're the masters of it. I just like saying grift.
Grifting.
Anyway, it's going to be a huge podcast, so maybe we should fucking focus. We got so much shit to talk about. Maybe we should stop fucking saying the word grift 18 times a fucking second. And focus up. First things first, I watched The Old Guard on the weekend.
Right.
And that movie's pretty fucking good. Charlize Theron, she should be in more movies, action movies. She's fucking rad. She's got like
a bunch
moves and shit. She was in that Atomic Blonde.
Yeah. Mad Max.
That's it. And a list. Yeah, but she wasn't doing like action shit in that. She was like driving a truck and being grumpy at Tom Hardy. Like nobody was acting all that much in that movie. Well,
wasn't
I guess
in
they were
a film
acting,
with Seth Rogen, where she was?
She wasn't doing action in that. She was like a fucking ambassador or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. She should be in John Wick. She should be Jane Wick. Oh my god. John Wick's sister, Jane Wick. It's genius. She just fucking shows up. I would fucking lose my tits. Anyway, yeah. Old Guard, worth a watch on Netflix. Cool. And the other one was the Eurovision movie.
Okay.
Fire Saga, the story of Fire Saga. Worth a watch. Like just nice. Like fucking it's a Will Ferrell movie, so you got to be in for Will Ferrell like doing loud noises instead of comedy for a little bit. But like most of it is generally funny. Rachel McAdams is like, you know, funny as fuck in it. And what's his face? Your boy from Legion. Dan Stevens. He's in it. Right. And he's spectacular. Cool. Yeah, watch that. And that's about it. And I watched Hamilton.
On my list. I watched Hamilton as well, yes.
Yeah.
Because I've not seen it before. Have you seen it?
Well, no. How would I?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's been out for like 5 years. So.
Rolled on over to fucking Broadway, baby. Like fucking that's how it is, you know, in the high flying fucking life. And the grifting life, baby. Yeah, no, I hadn't seen it. But yeah, it was good, I guess.
Did you watch it with subtitles on?
Fucking long. No, should I?
Okay. Well, no, because my wife, everyone at her work said that they watched it with subtitles on because a lot of them couldn't understand. Well, I've heard a lot of people saying this, that like you get a better understanding of the lyrics and like what they're saying. Like you've got to watch it a couple of times to really fully grasp it. But if you put the subtitles on, you can you read everything as it's happening. And it's a lot easier to get everything.
Sounds like cheating. Yeah. You don't have subtitles when you're in the fucking theater. I was like, I don't want any fucking camera changes in that shit. Chuck a fucking camera up behind a giant fucking post because I cheaped out on the tickets and you got to fucking lean around a fucking column.
I got a $10 streaming ticket per month.
Have it on a slant because you got to fucking crane your head the entire time. You're like, yeah, pretty good.
And every like 20 minutes, somebody walks past like in front of you.
Exactly. Like the old school fucking when you bootleg a fucking a movie. What was it? I think it was Romeo Must Die. My mate came back from the Philippines with this fucking like this CD case, this 400 CD like case, and it, like 250 of them were like pirated PlayStation games, and the other 150 were fucking pirated movies. And I remember like Romeo Must Die hadn't made it out in cinemas in Australia at the time. So we're like, oh my fucking God, Jet Li, we're watching this shit. Let's go. Let's watch this. Fucking chuck it in. And it is like, not only is you can see someone's head, like the lower half of the screen is taken up by someone's head, but better still is the entire time you're watching it, the dude filming is losing his fucking shit. He's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what is going on in this? Like, and he's like hitting the fucking camera, so the camera shakes every time he gets out of his seat. And it was basically like watching the movie with like a very excitable
like a 4D.
Yeah, it was like, super fucking real. It was the most real cinema going experience I've ever seen in a pirated film. Not that I watch many pirated films, of course, ladies and gentlemen. We don't condone the very cool act of piracy on this podcast. Anyway, that's movies to watch. Let's move on to video games.
Yeah.
What are we starting with?
There's a lot here. We got some good ones this week. A lot of big previews. But we'll kick off with the Hunter Call of the Wild.
Okay.
Last week we were recording the podcast, and once I think we started. Did we start late last week or something? I think we started late.
Yeah, super late.
Yeah. So once we finished, some of the guys were actually already playing the game, and so I jumped in afterwards, and I was running around. So the Hunter is a simulated hunting game, and so I'm running around, and I could see like this faint line in the middle, like going directly across the middle of my screen as we were running around. Like you're looking at the sky, like you'd see all blue, and then this like sort of faint white line in the middle, and then a couple of other little bits and pieces. And I'm like, what the fuck is this line? And I'm like moving my screen around, and it's always there. So I Alt Tab, and I opened up like a web page or something, or Discord. Might have been Discord, because my Discord is on dark mode, and I can see this line still. I'm like, I've got like a fucking dead pixel or something like across the entirety of my screen, and I'm flipping out. I'm like looking at this thing, and then I start seeing other bits and pieces, like little indentations or something. I'm like, what is that? And I realize it's my web browser. That because when we podcast, I have your video up on the screen, which is taking up half the screen. And then on the lower half of the screen is our show notes, where I've got what we're talking about. I mark things in there, and just so I've got an idea of what, so there's some sort of fucking function on this podcast. And so it somehow was like starting to screen burn, because we record for like quite a while on here, usually. Three and a half hours is sort of the average these days. And so it looked like it was starting to screen burn on my screen. I was like flipping out because I could see this giant line across the entirety of my screen. Luckily, it seems like you can kind of get rid of that stuff by just powering off your monitor for a while. But anyway, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that, because I don't want screen burn on my expensive screen. Like I've had this screen for quite a while. It's going on like probably 7 years, maybe at this stage. 6 years.
That is a long time,
but still does what I needed to do. But yeah, anyway, I've just got to keep an eye on that one, because it was concerning when you see that. You're like, am I going to have to get a new screen? But anyway, the Hunter. Still playing a bunch of that game, having a lot of fun. I jumped in last night, and there was 4 of us in the channel at one stage playing. Been doing a bunch of like tournaments and things like that, where you someone starts, whoever the host is, starts a tournament, and you're given a bunch of tasks. It could be something basic like get a silver trophy, or it could be like, here's a list of 6 different animals you got to go find. Go get those. I haven't really had a chance to sort of dive in and see what those are all sort of entailing, but it seems like there's a decent list. I think that there could be a better way to do some of that stuff in terms of
100%. Yeah.
Like the way I feel about the game at the moment is it's very pay to win. Like, it's not a pay to win game, but when we're playing tournaments, I feel like it's pay to win, because like last night, for instance, when we're jumping in there, Drew started up a tournament, and I hadn't played this specific map since early access. And so when I jumped into the map, it kind of spawned me. I hadn't really explored much of it at all, and I didn't really have anything unlocked, whereas these guys were able to move around and and go to different areas. And I said, like, what's the rules? And there are no rules. And so all of a sudden, like, people are fucking fast traveling all over the map. Like, I don't know
Not
where.
rules. This is why you need me, right? At least
Yeah.
as overbearing as I can be, I at least keep things in fucking order.
Yeah.
At least impose some semblance of fucking sanity on the proceedings, as opposed to, I assume people were just following each other around or some shit.
Not necessarily, but like I like to gear myself up and know what I'm in for, because I've been playing it with my loadout like on the other map. Like I know what I need. Here's my because animals sort of have a different rating from like 1 to 9, and you've got to have the appropriate equipment in order to get a specific like a trophy rating. Because some of the challenges require you to do specific things, like you can't use the wrong gun against a certain type of animal, although you got to use the correct type of ammo. You've got to shoot them in the right spots. You can't damage certain trophy organs or pieces.
You got 4 ticks that you have to tick off.
Yeah,
there's 4 things to get a perfect trophy. Perfect.
Yeah, and so I've got my setup for that specific scenario or that reservation, right? Because I know that I'm going to have, here's my weapon, it's a 1 to 4, and then I've got another weapon that's like a 3 to 7, and then one that's a little bit more powerful that does like an 8, and then I've got like a pistol for the smaller game, like your foxes and your rabbits and things like that. And so I was at my callers as well for those specific types of animals. But then I jump into this new reservation and I'm like, all right, what are we hunting? The fucking tournament's already started, and I'm like going through my list of things I need to sort of take with me and have the right callers. And on top of that, I'm looking at this list of like 6, 7 things, and I'm like, I don't know where to even start, like going, like where should I be looking? And so I just started going north and running around. Meanwhile, Frisk goes on his fucking ATV and he's driving around everywhere, and Drew's warping all over the place, like fast traveling to certain locations that he's already unlocked. He's sitting at this pond just murdering everything that he can, I think. I don't even know if he's trying, but he must have killed about 8 things at this pond. Meanwhile, I must have run for about 20 minutes and I didn't hear a single animal. I didn't see a single footprint. And I'm like, well, there's no way I'm winning this. And eventually, I just kept going north and I started taking things out. And eventually, I got in the lead by, I think it was like 4 to 1 or 4 to 2. And then we needed 6. And so what I had left was a wild boar and a bison. Heath ended up dropping out because he had to go make dinner and he had a race after that. It's classic Heath.
And he was raging, wasn't he? He was raging for sure.
He was doing something in that pond because everything was dead. It was just a purple.
Challenges fucking, he pops off in challenges. He loses his fucking shit.
Yeah. And so I eventually find these boar prints and I'm running around trying to I never get a glimpse of this thing. I must have been chasing it for about 25, 30 minutes. I've never seen this boar. All I can see is footprints. I don't have any callers to try and get it to come towards me. I don't really know where I'm supposed to be looking because I haven't explored this area before. Like I don't know where the feeding zones are or the sleeping zones, like where I should be going. Am I even in the right area to find this type of stuff? Eventually I get one. I think it just like walks in front of me or something like that, just out of nowhere. So I get that down, and then I'm like, all right, now I've got this bison left. I don't know where to look for this bison, and so Drew is saying that he's got bison down near him. So, but he's got this like portable tent thing that he place, and it acts as a fast travel, and it's literally on the opposite side of the map. And so I just fast travel to that and start running around. He's like, oh, there's some south of me I saw, and so I fast travel. I start running south, and then I realize the wind is going south. I'm like, that motherfucker.
He stitched you up.
He stitched me up.
He's tried that on me a billion times. He's such a dog. He is such a fucking sly dog when he's trying to get that fucking win.
Yeah.
That's how he always manages to beat me. He'll always beat me by one fucking animal, and it'll be off the basis of some fucking cheeky shit like that.
Yeah. And then I think he said he saw some down near the
special.
road to the east, and I start running down this road, and I eventually look at the map, and there's just giant purple blotches, like 7 of them. Like, was Heath down here before? And that's where Heath was manned up. He was just killing things all around that pond. And what happens is, if you kill too many things around a certain area, the animals stop going to that area. So anyway, I didn't win that that specific tournament. I got close. I was in front for quite a while, but yeah, I just don't know the area. What I want to see is I want to do the tournaments where you start off, everybody's on equal ground. There's no fast travel, or at least
no fast travel.
No,
you got to have fast travel,
right? But then people that have unlocked certain things can't get to certain places.
Like that's not pay to win. That's just fucking
people that have played that map.
Play single player and go fucking grab the fucking spots. I'll just go get the fast travel points. That's what I did last time after I got fucking splashed out by fucking Heath and Drew being able to fucking fast travel anywhere. I just went back in afterwards and I unlocked a bunch of fast travel spots. Like that, you got to have fast travel because you can't have everyone start on the same spot and then run out because it's too much of a clusterfuck. Like it's too fucking cluttered.
I like it.
Everyone fucking runs on top of each other, scares away your shit, and Frisco follows me fucking 16 minutes shooting all my fucking game, and then
I was doing that the other day. Like someone was across the river from me, and they were like one thing away, and so I'd just be picking shots over there, like while they're chasing this stuff.
Dog, what a dog. Yeah. I like the challenges in that game, but they could be so much better. That game, just in general, could be so much fucking better than it is. It is like a great start, and it has potential to be so much more. Like, I want to be able to set a challenge, like the challenge you were doing, where you got to get one of each animal, right? Set a challenge, but also put like a minimum score limit. Each animal, you know, absolutely. Like you can't, because fucking
you just like smash everything.
Yeah, these boys are running around like fucking pinging fucking deer in the face and walking away with a fucking 25 pointer.
Yeah,
and here I am like there's 7 of these fucking things, and I like pick out the one I want. Oh, this one's got and then I'll like fucking wait and aim and get the perfect shot and walk up, and I'll get fucking 400 points or some shit, but it's worth the same as a fucking 25 pointer, so I might as well just fucking blast it into the fucking crowd and seeing what I got, you know? Like, yeah, set a minimum limit to actually encourage like proper hunting. And I'd like to be able to like set all of the parameters of a challenge, like,
yeah,
you know, like
limit like certain animals,
like, yeah, or like an order or something. Like you got to, or like distances, like range. You got to fucking shoot them from this range, or whatever. Like there's all kinds of things, but
there are like like you can do the silver trophies and gold trophies and things like that. That sort of makes it so you've got to at least try a little bit harder. There was one that the guys put up the other day, which was get a heart shot, and so I found a rabbit and just fucking blasted it.
Nice.
Why
not?
Yep. Gamed the system. And I literally said before that we started the challenge, after this challenge started, I said, are there any rules? And they said no, and I was like, cool. And I finished the challenge in about a minute. I just went up to a rabbit, smashed
This is why you need some rules.
Yeah. They're out there, they're hunting bison and giant deers, and I'm like, oh, there's a rabbit. Bam. See you later.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm still playing that game a lot by myself, just running around. I think I'm going to start on one of the other reservations that I've got, the one that I haven't played, and just try and get some more experience out of that, because there's still a lot of weapons that I haven't unlocked, and some gear and things like that. I'd be interested to start using things like the bow and arrow and seeing what that's like, but I'm pretty content with just using a couple of different rifles and like a pistol for this stage. But yeah, it's a very zen game at the moment, just chilling out.
Yeah.
I'll play for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just do one mission and then log off, do something else.
Yeah, it's good for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I haven't played a lot of games because the one game we can talk about is under embargo until next week. But other than that, like Rocket Arena is kind of the only other game that I've played that's sort of newish, because I'm still playing The Last of Us Part 2. Do you want to talk about Rocket Arena?
Let's do it.
This is the EA's Rocket Arena, not the Quake 3 or Quake mod Rocket Arena.
Quake mod. This is the new Rocket Arena from Final Strike Games and EA, formerly Final Strike Games and Nexon. It came out 2 days ago. Launched. It's $30 inexplicably, and it's a $30 multiplayer only game with like bot match only single player, and it's dead on arrival in Australia.
$30 US.
Yeah. 40-ish Australian. It's dead on arrival in Australia. It's already dead. I was playing it. I got a code from EA. I got to play in the pre-release review session. But obviously, I didn't post anything until I could see it on live servers. It was exactly as I suspected, because even in the pre-release review session, people dropped out, and so I got sorted onto. It appeared to be Southeast Asian or Asian servers. I'm not sure, but I was getting 150 ping. It's got ping details and stuff, so it's not like there is another game on this list that won't even tell you fucking ping. But yeah, it's not like you can't tell your ping. It's just you wouldn't fucking need it. You wouldn't fucking need to know your ping, because it's a 3v3 hero-based third-person shooter. Sorry, a third-person hero shooter. 3v3 team-focused, multiple modes, and instead of dying, you've got a Smash Bros. Style percentage-based knockout system, where you just get blasted off the map. And
but you can recover health.
You can, if you can stay out of harm's way for long enough, you can just recover all your health. You'd notice if the ping was high, because there are no hit scan weapons. Everything's a projectile based. I'm 99% sure.
But it's very lenient, extremely lenient.
There's like a large amount of splash damage, large hitboxes, and at 250 ping, there doesn't appear to be any lag compensation, so you just fucking warp everywhere. Like, it is crazy hard to do anything in that game, because not only do you have to lead everyone by like a quarter of a second, but you're also like warping backwards constantly, so you have to fucking manage that. And even once you do get into a mindset where you're capable of fucking dealing with the warping, and you do, like, you adjust pretty quickly. It's warping in the way that Quake used to do it a little bit when you were playing on high ping servers. Like, you would sort of just stutter a little, as opposed to moving naturally, or the other players would stutter. Like, you can see how the server is struggling to reconcile your impact on it. And it's just impossible to fucking play. You struggle so fucking hard to hit anything, and because it's a 3v3 team-based shooter and the team focus is very much there, it's not just you having a bad time. A third of this team is out of commission, is contributing nothing,
Yeah.
is bringing nothing to the fucking table. And so the other people on your team are having a fucking bad time. You can't tell that you're in a 250 ping server until the fucking game starts. So it's not like you can back out at the start. I don't like. It doesn't like find someone else to be in the game or anything.
Yeah. It doesn't
So
say like searching matchmaking high, like a high ping or anything like, sort of like what Call of Duty does, where it says matchmaking, and then if it can't find something, it'll broaden the search to be like matchmaking 50 ping, 100 ping, 150 ping, and then it sort of escalates.
Yeah, and like flat out, this game shouldn't put you in a server any higher. Like I think 150 was playable. Once you realize you're on 150, you can sort of adjust. It's not warping as much. There is a little bit of warping usually, like with lag spikes, but like most of the time, you can adjust enough to accommodate for the ping. But I mean, here's a fucking good example. Is I couldn't fucking get a game going. Right, we ran out of OCE players. I was like, well, I mean, if I can't play at sub 200 ping, I'm just gonna bail on the event. You know, I played it for 3 hours. I've got a pretty good handle on it. I'm obviously gonna wait and play it when it releases to see what it's like then anyway. So I'll get more playing then. And they scrambled the team doing the review event scrambled to get me someone to play with. So they found there was one other Aussie player still going. So they put him on one team, and they put me on the other, and they filled out the rest of the team with developers who are, by all accounts, very good at the game. And I beat the fuck out of them. Like, they never had a fucking hope. They couldn't hit me. They never had a fucking chance of hitting me. And I was just fucking teeing them up at every fucking corner. It was... And, like, this... The thing about this is... Like, the thing about Rocket Arena is that this had happened quite a bit already. Like, this game has a skill floor like you wouldn't fucking believe. You need, like, fucking... You need, like, a Sherpa to get to the fucking base camp so you can start mounting an expedition to get to the skill floor of this game. Because you got to learn the fucking rocket arcs. You got to learn, like, the timing on each shot of each hero. Every single hero's primary fire fires differently, be it different pace, different arc, different reloads, like... different damages, like that's all different. So every single one of those is different, but they're all fundamentally within the same fucking like idea. They're all explosive weapons, explosive projectiles, right? And then you've got to learn all of their shift abilities, typically movement style or like defensive style movements. Abilities. You got to learn all of those. And you got to learn all of their R&B attacks. And the R&B, they've got like a fucking... There's a wide array of those as well. Like they do a bunch of different things. They might put a shield on you. They might just throw out a fucking really fast like attack. Like all kinds of things. And you got to learn all of those. And that's to play as any one character. But you have to learn everything everyone else is doing as well, because... like there's no opportunity to, like, if you find out the fucking pirate character, whatever his name, Blastbeard or whatever it is, if you find out like if you just find out by playing what he does, he can rip your shit up, because what he does is I think his shift, I'm pretty sure his shift attack is he explodes in a fucking huge blast, and then that blast does damage, like in a giant radius, and it like negates any projectiles running at him. So if you get in close to him, you have to understand that he has the potential to do shitloads of damage and negate all damage coming towards him. Or if you're chasing after a Zelda, fucking Amazonian, right? You got to know that she's able to fucking smash shift and get the fuck out, right? She can just fucking get away, and you won't catch her. But she can also use that to close the distance really fast. And if she hits you with it, you take a fuck ton of damage. And so you got to know like the encounter ranges of every single fucking person, or the fucking, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The magic chick, she splits. And if you kill the wrong one, you didn't do anything. So you got to fucking kill her twice. She's not that hard to kill, but like she's kind of shit. But there's two of her. You got to fucking manage that shit. You got to fucking, oh, well, she's okay. This thing's not shooting back, so I guess I'll fucking move on to the other one. But you can switch between them at will and all this kind of stuff. Like you got to know all this shit, and that's the base level. And then there's the fact that there's
items and different modes.
Like there's a billion different items. There's like 7 different maps. There's 4 modes. I don't know. I think one of the modes I played was pre-launch, and I can't mention it.
I played one which was a mix, like multiple different modes, like things happening, collecting coins, and then protecting a treasure chest. And
so there's knockout, right, which is just kill everyone or get team deathmatch, and then there's treasure hunt, which is the one you played, where there's a treasure chest in the middle, and then it switches at the halfway point, and everyone goes for coins, which is it's just a spectacularly poorly executed fucking mode. It doesn't work in its current situation, because as soon as the fucking coin run happens, the most efficient way to play is to stop fighting and go run after coins. Right, and the only time you would shoot in that, the only time you do shoot in that situation is when you are being harassed by someone, and the only time you would be harassed is if you went clockwise and they went anti-clockwise around the fucking map collecting coins.
It's not like you're banking coins anywhere. You're just
there's no
picking
banking,
them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just grab them, and that directly contributes. So anytime you're not grabbing coins is not contributing to your fucking team. So yeah, that mode's not well done. And then there is Rocket Ball. Did you play Rocket Ball? Mega Rocket? Did you play Mega Rocket? Have you only played those 2 modes?
Yeah.
All right. Well, one of the modes I just said is maybe not out yet. You talk about you playing for a bit.
Oh no, I've only played a little bit because I just jumped in for a little while to check it out. I didn't even realize that there were different heroes with different abilities and things like that, because it just didn't occur to me. Like there's a tutorial when you jump into the game that teaches you about movement and that sort of stuff, but I didn't realize that the characters were sort of behaving a bit differently. What I did notice was, and I still haven't got an idea of how any of this works, but there's like an artifact system where you get unlocks, and then you can then tweak, I guess, how your character works with these artifacts. Have you played around much with those at all?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just Googling. I just realized which mode it was, and it's not. So there are 4 modes in the game from the get-go, Mega Rocket and Rocket Ball. Yeah, the artifacts. Yeah, this shit's insane. You can't have artifacts in this game. The fucking boosts they give you, like your dodge takes you 50% further or 75% or 100% further. That is a fucking huge buff. That is a huge deal. Or you move 15% faster, I think is one of the early ones you get, right? That is fucking everything. 15% faster than someone else is insane, right? You see how much effort that in Apex Legends they put into like clarifying to everyone that everyone moves at the same pace, because movement speed is such a huge imbalance factor in games, because like just the perception of moving slower affects how people play. And like in this, you've got like random so I mean, we come back to fucking the Hyper Scape thing where you can't like instantly tell what you're running into, like based on a silhouette. Like you've got no idea exactly how you're going to fucking run into. when a match starts in Rocket Ball, it shows you your teammates' artifacts. And I was very depressed to see that 90% of the time, nobody on my team equipped any fucking artifacts. But I don't think you can't see like anyone else's. You can't see the other like team artifacts, so you don't even fucking know what they're running, right? Like that's crazy. Oh no, you can. It's hidden underneath. I'm just looking at a screenshot from one of my videos. Like you can see it, and it's just barely visible, just barely. Like in this screenshot that I'm looking at right now, half of one of the characters' artifacts, almost all of one of the characters' artifacts, are hidden by Blastbeard's cannon is hanging over where it would be displayed, so you just can't see it. So that information is just not available to you, and it's so fucking important. It's such a big deal in how it plays out. So yeah, you've got to account for that. This is still skill floor shit. This is just the basics of playing this game, just the basics of getting into your first game. You've got to be accounting for artifacts, items, what mode you're playing, what map you're on, what hero you are, what heroes your teammates are, what heroes you're up against. Then you're fine. Easy. Oh, is that all? Meanwhile, Rocket League is cargo, and that's it, right? Oh yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, I drive into the big ball. Is that how the game works? I drive in the big ball. Yeah, I got this. I think I get how this game works. But Call of Duty is, oh yeah, like the gun, it pews, right? Like, and that's it. And this, like, you got to learn the different guns. They're all basically the same. Like the closest I think I can think of, the closest. Sorry, I must have said something about that search engine because my phone just fucking started searching shit. But no, the closest analog I could think of in terms of like skill floor would be Overwatch, right? Yeah. Because at the same, like, you know, you've got a high degree of difference between each character, right? But even Overwatch does it better because at least you've got the support roles. At least you can be in Mercy, right? Be Lucio, right? And Lucio just fucking pews and passively heals everyone or speeds them up or whatever, right? He does that passively. You don't need to fucking pay attention to his impact on the team. Or Mercy auto targets for healing shit. Like most, I know people who, when they first started playing Overwatch, they played Mercy for ages and didn't realize she could switch guns. They didn't know for fucking yonks because it's just not how they play. They didn't need to. But what they were doing while they were actively contributing to their team, doing, you know, playing a support role, was they were learning all of those things that the other fucking players do. All the, like, the heroes on their team, you know, they can see what Reinhardt's doing. It reminds me of the fucking World of Tanks thing where you play as an SPG, right? When you play as an SPG, you see everything that's going on the map, and you can see what scouts are doing, like light tanks are doing. You can see what how medium tanks move up or hide behind fucking heavies, and what heavies are doing to maximize their fucking usefulness. You can see all that shit, and you get a really good fucking idea of how the game works by watching it. There's no fucking opportunity to do that in Rocket Arena. You are in the shit immediately. They fucking kick you in the fucking deep end, and then they're like, by the way, try not to drown, and also it's 250 ping. Like, it's fucking crazy shit. What I noticed during my play session before everyone quit, and I think everyone fucking quit, everyone in the OC region, the reason I had to play on fucking 250 ping servers, the reason that happened is because I blitzed the fuck out of everyone. There's one person, this dude called Toothless, who appeared to be on my level, right? That was it. And at one point, I messaged the, like, people running the event to tell them to make sure we aren't on the same team anymore, because it was revolting. Anytime we were on the same team, I've got video. I can, like, we could probably play it in the background. There's video where we play like against a team and it's knockout, which is first to 20, and we win 20-1. We lost one person. It was Toothless, and that's why I'm better than him, obviously. No, we lost one person. And like that was when I'm like, we can't be on the same team anymore, because the skill disparity, right? The other team, these were players who are still trying to get to grips with the basics of the game. You know, like even if you've played shooters before, you aren't prepared for Rocket Arena. I think the reason I was prepared is because I didn't notice. I sort of felt like the first. I think they make you play as one guy. This like fucking like architect type dude with a pith hat, you know, and he's got a grenade launcher. That's his main weapon, is a grenade launcher. And it's not exactly the same, but it's quite a similar arc to the grenade launcher from Quake. And so I felt pretty fucking set. Right? Like I managed to find my fucking footing with him very quickly, and then I found another character who felt good, and I just sort of like I went through all the characters, the same as I assume everyone else did, but yeah, like I was able to make mental analogs, like mental links to other shooters. But if you don't have a very broad fucking concept, a very broad experience with shooters, if you've played Call of Duty or you've played some Battlefield, you're in for a rough time trying to learn this fucking game, because it doesn't play like those games. It doesn't play like other shooters. It doesn't even play like I think the best you get, like if you're good at Junkrat, you would be well equipped in Rocket Arena, because you know that is quite similar. You've got that arc type thing. Like, so we just blitzed, like fuck people up nonstop. Blitzball, like Rocket Ball game. So Rocket Ball is, I think Rocket Ball and Knockout would be, they should get rid of every mode that isn't Rocket Ball and Knockout. Just delete them from the game. Treasure Hunt is dumb. It is a bad execution on a ultimately not very fun idea. And Mega Rocket is the one where so there's like these rockets come down, and it's basically King of the Hill. You have to hold a single space for I think it's 20 seconds. Like as it's and I think it goes faster when there's more of your team in, and it goes back and forth. But like it doesn't make sense because it's a game with fucking splash damage, right? So it's not like in regular King of the Hills you can hold it by holding certain angles, but in a game with splash damage and like lots of vertical mobility, you just get up high enough and just like lob in. You lob in until people are pushed off the fucking point. Fucking Pirate Boy again, his shift, his explosion, which blocks all fucking damage, is the size of the capture area. So if he gets onto the fucking cap area, that's it. He can decimate every single enemy player in the fucking cap area. Like he can do massive damage without any issues. So Mega Rocket doesn't really work. I just don't think King of the Hill should be in this kind of game. And then, Knockout obviously is good. Rocket Ball's great. Rocket Ball is like, I don't know, fucking basketball or some shit. Like you get the ball, you throw it at the fucking, it's single flag, capture the flag, and it works, right? I think the only thing that I would change about it is make the ball move a little slower when you throw it. Right. I think it moves too fast. I think it needs a bit of an arc to emphasize skill shots. Because what I was doing is I would just I'd line it up from fucking yonks out. Like I'd grab the ball, and I got a couple of fucking goals from like my side of the fucking map, like my team's side. I just like, they would just throw it, I'd grab it, launch up into the air and fucking ping it at their fucking goal and get it from the other side of the, damn, why the fuck not? Right? Like, because it's too easy to fucking predict. It needs some sort of fucking like accuracy like a a zone, like a circle, so it's not perfectly wherever you fucking throw it. It needs an arc, and it needs to be a little bit slower so people can intercept it a bit easier to make it more of a skill shot. But I think that I think that mode generally works. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, like that's a good mode. Knockout makes sense because it's basically Smash Bros. This game is basically Smash Bros, but a third-person shooter. But like, I don't like. How does that elevator pitch work? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know who this game is for. Like,
that's it, right? That's exactly it, right? This game.
You look at the art style, and the art style is directly like a Fortnite, right?
Yeah,
it looks like a Fortnite, very cartoonish, or even like an Overwatch or something like that. Very exaggerated cartoon characters, bright colors. It's a third-person game for some reason. I don't know why it is. It just, like, when you think about, obviously there's no relation here at all to Rocket Arena, the mod, other than taking basically the same idea and trying to redo it in today's sort of, what the games is sort of doing today. But yeah, it just doesn't seem to know what it is trying to do. Like, is it a casual game? Is it a going for the hardcore audience? Is it somewhere in the middle? Like, they've got, it'd be like giving I don't know, like PUBG a really cartoony look and making it appeal to kids, but having it be super hardcore and deep and just being like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, yeah, it's the cartoon style, right? Like the aesthetic. Like, it's so divorced from the gameplay. Because it is like, I guess in a way that's sort of like Smash Bros, right? Smash Bros is all cartoony characters, and then you go and play it, and the only people who are any good at it haven't showered in 16 weeks, and you're like getting fucking bodied by some fucking like 24-year-old unemployed kid who like lives on tendies, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't understand. I knock you off the fucking platform. Why the fuck are you back up here? Yeah. You're like, oh, I just did a reverse jump dash cancel, and you're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
And their health says 500%. You're like, what?
Didn't you die at 100? Do I not understand how numbers work anymore? Actually, speaking of, I can never work out when the fuck someone's about to die. Like, yes, when they're flashing, in like when they've got like the flashing, like health bar, I guess, percentage bar. There isn't percentage numbers, and I can't work out when someone's gonna fucking die in Rocket Arena. I just shoot them until they're fucking dead. And I guess it seemed to work because nobody was able to stop me from doing it. But yeah, like, it's just, this game, man. Like, someone needed to be there to say, what are you doing? Like, who do you want to play this game? Who is it for? 100% who is this for? Because it doesn't really work in its current form.
And like I said, I think it is extremely lenient on its hitboxes, and it must have like some sort of auto aim or something, because I was doing like 15 hit combos. If I was doing 15 hit combos in Quake 3, I'd be fucking fatality or something like that. Like playing Rocket Arena or playing, whatever they were playing, Team Deathmatch, or like if you were hitting 15 rockets in a row back then, that would be nuts. And it's telling me
everyone watching the Duel would be losing their fucking, like, they'd still make frag movies about it to this day. Like, people would be re-rendering the demo out at a higher resolution so that you could re-watch it over and over and over again. That time Crash nailed a 15 hit combo on some fucking moron in Clan Arena.
But I'm doing it in here, and I feel like there's something going on. Like, I don't know if it's it's just very like the hitbox is just huge, or it just kind of if you get it near someone, it sort of magnetizes towards them a little because there is some sort of dodge mechanic.
Yeah.
So maybe if you get like too close to it, it sort of just registers that as a hit and will just explode. Or I'm not sure. I don't know how it's designed, but it just feels like it's like the game looks very cartoony. It's got all these systems that like there's a lot going on, but at the same time, it just seems really easy to play as well. Like the shooting behind it. So,
but it's only like that. That's the other thing is it's only easy to play if you have that broad base of experience in a lot of shooters.
Sure.
And yeah, like that was 100% the thing that I was seeing was people weren't able to fucking hit anything, like anything on the other team, and on my team we were hitting everything, and like I'd be teamed up with them, and you could like watch what they were doing, and they were like you could stand behind them and shoot, and you like I'd be leading them to account for the fucking projectile travel time, and they would be fucking shooting just behind them constantly because they don't know how to adjust for a projectile based fucking shooter. You know, it is a huge fucking deal. But yeah. Anyway,
maybe we should jump in at some stage together and see what we can get.
Right? There's like, I would be dumped on 250 ping.
Well, no, 100%. If I join you, we'll see what happens.
Nah, we're still not going to find any games in Australia. I tried 4 times yesterday. I like tried twice, couldn't find anything. Went back a couple of hours later at like 7, and I figured it might be around peak. Nothing. Couldn't find shit.
I think that's a problem. It should be a free-to-play game.
It should be free.
They've got 100%. Microtransactions in there for skins and things, right?
They got skins and stuff. I got a couple of interesting ones. A lot of them are just like recolors, but there's some cool skins. Like, I think that's the thing, right? Like, like the part I don't understand is that I think all of these individual elements have been executed. Well, not all of them, but like a lot of these individual elements have been executed very well.
Yeah.
They're just for different fucking games. The art, it fucking nails it. It looks really good. Like, and all the other the skins and stuff, like it's very visually distinct and like really well done. It just doesn't belong in whatever fucking crazy projectile-based, team-based Smash Bros. Hero shooter they're fucking making. And meanwhile, a Smash Bros. Style game. Yeah, that makes sense. Like,
and we got to charge 40, 50 bucks for it. A game nobody has heard of.
Yeah. Oh, multiplayer only hero shooter. Yeah, it's 40 bucks. You realize you're not Blizzard, right? Like, yeah, like it just doesn't. None of it belongs together. This is. I don't want to go into spaghetti and Skittles again, but this is spaghetti and Skittles.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rocket Arena. Oh my lord, don't buy it. Holy
EA's
shit.
Rocket Arena.
Wait.
Not Quake 3 Rocket Arena.
Not Quake 3 Rocket Arena. But I reckon wait a month and you can get it free to play. For sure.
Yeah. They'll 100%. Dump it on like Game Pass or something like that. Is there crossplay? I think there's crossplay in it, but you need to like enable it or something like that in the options.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to turn it on.
Maybe that's the solution. Is just stomp a bunch of PlayStation players.
Well, that's like the thing is, right? When I'm playing on my ping, I have literally no problem stomping everyone. I've got oodles of fucking video of this shit. I tweeted a video, the video where we got 20 kills, 20 to 1. Disgusting. When I played against Toothless in Rocket Ball, we won fucking, I think it was 5-1 or something. Like, we just fucking ripped shit up. I got, like, it's just ludicrous. It's just, it doesn't work at 250 ping. And yeah, if you don't have a fucking good idea how fucking shooters work, you're fucked in it.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. Cool.
All right. Let's keep on going.
Cool. Moving on. I touched on this really briefly just then, but Hyper Scape.
Yep.
Is yeah. I said this in our messenger chat, but fucking how pissed would you be if you were Riot, if you worked really hard to put out the blandest paint by numbers shooter, team-based shooter, or sorry, just shooter of fucking 2020, and then EA and Ubisoft drop fucking two way blander shooters the same fucking week. Like, good lord, what is going on?
With
Hyper
bad
Scape,
names as well.
with terrible names.
Like they're having
Oh,
a fight
Lord.
over like who can have the worst name.
Who can have the worst name and who can have the worst game? Like, let's see.
I mean, to be fair, I
Hyperscape.
did tell you last week that Hyperscape was not very good, and yet here
I
you are.
I believed you, but I needed to see it for myself. I needed to see how
burning
bad
rank.
it was. Yeah, exactly. Holy fuck. Hyperscape's worse than Rocket Arena. Like, first things first, Hyperscape is worse than Rocket Arena. I don't think anyone at Hyperscape in the team making Hyperscape has played a battle royale before, because if they had, they would not have. Some of the decisions this game makes, holy shit.
Yeah.
It is insane. I don't know if they've played shooters before, to be honest. Like, the fucking way this game plays out. Like, first things first, I played a bunch of games at 200 ping, and all I got was a little yellow icon saying latency. And then, I mean, it's got good lag compensation. I had no idea just how bad my latency was. All I knew was that it was garbage and I couldn't hit anything. And so I adjusted. I adjusted my playstyle to account for the fact that, I was clearly playing on at least 150 ping. And I grabbed this grenade launcher thing, right? Grenade launcher, there's no fucking self-damage. You know what you do? You stand in a fucking room and you shoot at the fucking wall, right? And when a fucking full team runs in to murder you, you shoot at the fucking wall and you stand in the explosions and you watch them fucking die. Because that's why wouldn't you? Why the fuck wouldn't you do that? Right? So you got a grenade launcher. Why wouldn't I use that? Right? And what I did notice was that I was getting fucking plinked a lot by a one-shot sniper rifle, which was weird to me because a lot of the, like as you were saying last week, it's got a really high time to kill, right? It's got a really high time to kill, except if you use two weapons, the grenade launcher in a room or the sniper rifle fucking anywhere, because it's a sniper rifle that one-shots people if you hit him in the head, or it two-shots people if you hit them anywhere else. Like, once it's fully upgraded and it's doing fucking 78 base damage and people only have 100 damage, like, it's over. It's fucking, you don't even have to fucking plink them. You just fucking, you blap them and fucking get them. The crazy thing is, right, everyone's going on like, oh, finally an arena shooter style battle royale. Right. Why does an arena shooter have an AWP? Because there's a jump pad every fucking 15 meters in this fucking game, and the jump pad arc is spectacularly predictable. Like, unbelievable. It is the same every fucking time. So anytime you see someone fucking fling off into the sky, you get a gold sniper rifle, you go sit on a roof and you just wait. And you see people fucking, there's no drop off. Yeah. It's a fucking hit scan weapon. You see them fucking, and you know exactly where they're going to be, right? Because they're the same place every single fucking time. So you see the first dude do it, and you wait for his mate. And then you put where the fucking top of the arc was, bang, dead. Easiest fucking kill of your life, right? There's no damage drop off. You can do it from fucking 400 meters away. I don't know how fucking far out they render other players, but you can do it, as far as I can tell, you can do it from as far away as is possible in the fucking game, because it's hit scan. It is fucking instant. And they're dead. They're gone in a moment. It's fucking insane. So, on one hand, you got the minigun, which is doing 3 damage per fucking hit.
Yeah.
So you only need to hit them 33 fucking times to actually kill him. Yeah. Plus you move slower while you're fucking using it. Plus it fucking has a like
wind up.
Gradually widening fucking recoil arc, like spiral arc. Like obviously it's a shit weapon. There's no question that it's a garbage weapon, right? But why the fuck would you do like why would you ever pick it up? And then there's like I think the only decent auto-firing weapon is the fully upgraded SMG.
Yeah.
Can sort of it has a rate of fire high enough to compensate for its terrible fucking recoil and tiny fucking magazine. The fucking Ripper, the fucking AR is pointless. It should be medium range, but it doesn't fucking matter because it doesn't do enough damage. The times to kill. I went and fucking looked. And I chased this one dude around buildings because all I had was the fucking like the base level SMG and a Ripper. I chased this dude around some buildings for, I'm not kidding, 4 minutes. And all he would do was run away and he just kept juking, right? Good on him, like good jukes, right? But I couldn't actually I'd get him down to fucking 90% health and then I'd have to fucking reload and he'd duck around a corner and like duck around another one and he managed to get around long enough to start health regen and I'd fucking have to do it again. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? That same game, I got one shot by a sniper rifle. I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking game alive. I cannot believe this game exists the way it does. That said, I do have 2 wins under my belt. And they both came from the most heinous of circumstances. The first one, I carried these motherfuckers, these two dudes for yonks. Like just fucking, I res them fucking. I got like 5 revives, maybe 4 kills, like a shitload of assists. I was like fucking doing my best to keep these dudes alive, keep them in the game. Bless them, they stayed. They didn't fucking quit. I had a bunch of people just fucking quit on the spot as soon as they fucking died. But no, these dudes stayed, got them back in the game, did everything I could. They were like, every time I'd get them back in, they'd grab whatever guns they could and then they just piss off towards the fighting. And I'm like fucking pinging towards, hey, we should go into where the fucking, like, the map isn't disappearing. And invariably they would die to the zone, essentially. You know, the map despawns or whatever, and you take tick damage while you're outside of the map. So I'd have to get them back in again. And I'd get them back in again, like under fucking on the sly. I'd get them in, moving on, do what I could. And then, fucking only managed to get 1 back in. I had, I think it was shield and invisible. I just didn't have good stuff, basically. I had a sniper rifle. I don't know if I linked you this fucking, the streamable, but this was one where I literally lined this person up by the head, shot. They didn't move, and then they moved after they saw the shot had missed. And I'm like, there's no amount of lag that could fucking account for that shit. Like, I'm at a fucking loss. I
saw that one. The shot missed because what happened was when you fired the gun, it recoiled and went to the top left. But that's where the bullet went. Yeah. So I don't really know what happened. It's like,
that's what I saw on the frame by frame as well. I'm like, did I miss on recoil? So it must. So okay, so that's a new way to look at lag, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It lagged, so the shot fired after, like, it's wrinkle in my brain. Yeah, I watched it. I did the frame by frame because I'm like, I don't understand. Like, there's no way I fucking missed this. And yeah, you can see, and I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, it would. I do think that is what happened. So you've got to account for the recoil before you fucking, which would explain why I have sort of felt like sniping, like my snap rail sniping. Because I don't think I'm not the fucking aim god or whatever. But I do feel like a lot of the time I'll like snap to someone and like quick scope them. I was like that one felt like it would have hit. Like this is like within fucking 60 meters, shots that would normally hit, and I'm like, that one definitely felt like it should have hit them, but I don't know. Yeah, it would definitely feel like why sniper rifle. Maybe that's the nerf of the sniper rifle. Maybe that's their balancing feature. They've balanced it so that it only fires once the recoil of the gun goes off or some shit. I don't know. It's terrible. So yeah, that's tough. But anyway, my boy, the other one I managed to get in, got the fucking crown, and then got into a ball, and then from the ball went into a building, and then from the building got into a ball on once the cooldown ended, and then he won. We won the game. There was still, I think there was still like 23 people left in the game.
Yeah, because you capture the crown for, is it 40 seconds?
1 minute. It's 1 minute.
Okay.
But yeah, so the next game I played, I did the exact same thing. I camped out. I knew where the crown was going to be, so I camped in a building right next to the fucking crown. Some crazy motherfucker was standing on top of the crown, but I think he must have thought you just get it. You have to go up and like hold F to grab it. Bless him. He chucked a wall up next to the crown, so nobody could fucking shoot me. I bumped him off the railing it was on, grabbed the fucking crown, balled the fucking way. Another win. I got 2 wins in a row. I'm on a fucking 2-win streak, baby. And it will forever stay a 2-win streak because I uninstalled the game after that. Because, yeah, I think there was 25 people left in that game as well. I'm like, this game is idiotic. They fundamentally don't understand what a battle royale is supposed to be, and I want no fucking part of it anymore. So I deleted the game after that. Yeah, it's just yikers.
It's so bland to look at as well.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Like everything it's like blue and white. There's hints of different colors occasionally, but there's a lot of gold. Like I like some of the ideas with the disintegrating the areas. Like there's no circle and it sort of just disappears. Like your cover is gone. Like that's a cool idea. I like the idea of upgrading your weapons, even though I don't like any of the weapons. I like the idea of going around and finding stuff that you've already got, which upgrades it and evolves it. It kind of it puts a different emphasis on the battle royale looting phase, because you're no longer just looking for the best gun and then trying to find something that's better. Like you're finding a gun that you like and then trying to upgrade it. You're still looting and going around and exploring buildings. You're not just finding the thing that you want and then going in the middle of the circle in PUBG and just camping in a building. Like that's not going to really get you anywhere in the end game if you come up against someone that's being active. Like in Apex Legends, right? The team that has been active and that's getting the best gear and that sort of thing is probably going to be the team that wins, as opposed to the person that's just hiding in a corner somewhere hoping that they'll get there. So like I like that idea of upgrading weapons, and sort of not having a circle is something that's different and unique. But the rest of the game is very, I just don't know who this is for. Because it's just so vertical. There's so much going on, and you've got these hit scan weapons, and it's so everybody. I think one of the biggest fundamental problems of the game is that everybody takes too much damage. Like it's so bullet spongy. None of the weapons feel good, other than maybe that sniper rifle you were talking about, because it just one shots everybody. But you get a gun, and it
doesn't feel good.
Yeah, everything else feels like crap. So I think that's the biggest issue with the game. Maybe they can fix that. Maybe there's a turnaround. Things start to fall in place a little bit better. But at this stage, I'm not a fan.
No. Yeah, it's going from my PC. Uninstalled for the second time now, because I uninstalled it when I got fucking killed while sliding. And I'm like, all right, well, either this game has fucking aim hacks already, or I just like it didn't even ever account for my sliding, and I got sniped. Which fair enough, like yeah, that's how lag works. But I'm not interested in playing this game at a fucking ping where I can't even fucking trust my slides, you know?
Yeah. But then they
So
put
I
Aussie
installed it,
servers in, right? The
and
next
then they
day.
put in Aussie servers, and
Which
so I
is,
reinstalled it.
again, why was it not
Like,
there to begin
why?
with?
Yeah. Yep. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Hyper Scape. Yeah, I liked Rocket Arena better than Hyper Scape, I'll tell you what. Let's keep this fucking negativity train rolling, baby. Phantom Covert Ops. Let me tell you about Phantom Covert Ops. I was so enamored with the fucking idea of this game. It's a stealth shooter, right? In the grand tradition of Metal Gear Solid, entirely in VR, and you spend the entire game in a canoe.
Right.
It is so idiotic a concept that I couldn't not check it out.
Not love
I
it.
was exactly right. Like, I'm like, holy shit!
It's like they went
like
in Kojima's brain and just pulled out one of his ideas.
Exactly. Like, this is exactly how Kojima would make a Metal Gear Solid VR game. And so I'm like, well, I'm in. And then I saw that it was an Oculus exclusive. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm out again. Because I've never been able to get Revive to work. I've never been able to fucking get any Oculus Store games to work on my Vive. I don't know why. It just doesn't work for some people. Right? Like, and when I look up the fucking issues, it seems like it just doesn't work for some people who own an actual fucking Oculus. Like, sometimes it just doesn't fucking work. But knowing that this game was out there, knowing that it existed, oh, dear listener, I worked so hard to make this work. I did it straight after the podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Like, I dropped everything. And like, I unplugged my Vive, and I uninstalled all the software that controls it, and I uninstalled like CC cleaned like all any remnants of Oculus software off my fucking system and out of the registry and all this, like, just fucking cleaned house.
Yeah. New PC? You bought a new PC?
Bought a brand new fucking PC, bought an Oculus Rift. No.
It worked.
And it works now. Bought a canoe, and no, anyway. So yeah, I went through all this fucking effort. It took fucking hours, and but I finally managed to do it. Bought the game. It was like $50 fucking dollars. I'm like, this game had better suck my dick for $50 fucking dollars. Let me tell you, it didn't suck my dick at all. It chewed on my dick. It was like, it's very teethy, like, not happy. It is awful on so many fucking levels. First of all, I'm so goddamn tired of games that wouldn't have been, well, like, fucking Siphon Filter had better fucking, like, enemy AI than this fucking game. Like, 20-year-old fucking games had better fucking AI than this fucking shit. But because it's in VR, everyone always, like, people just, it's like, if you do anything in VR, that's it. Automatic 7, apparently. Like, just base level 7. Oh, but it's in VR, and VR needs more games. So don't shit on the games that come out. Get the fuck out of here. Fundamentally a bad game, right? Second of all, I have never felt more motion sick in my entire fucking life. Like, I guess I actually spewed on a boat from seasickness, but like, separating seasickness and motion sickness, right? No VR game has ever come close to this. I played fucking an hour and a half of Boneworks one time, and I like took the fucking thing off. And I'm like, oh my god, I need to sit down. I'm gonna fucking spew. Nah, I played like fucking not even close to that much of Phantom Covert Ops, and like I was still feeling it. I went to bed feeling fucked. I was still feeling sick at night trying to go to sleep. I woke up the next morning and I could still fucking feel like the fucking anyway, fuck that. It's an idiotic game. Like the idea that it's in the grand tradition of Metal Gear Solid is fundamentally flawed. They are like Metal Gear Solid. There were like interesting fucking ways you could tackle each environment. There's one way you can tackle Phantom Covert Ops. You can tell how to solve like each new area. Like in a lot of stealth games, each new area is a puzzle in and of itself. And yeah, you got to get through each area, and you can tell when you've found the correct path in Phantom Covert Ops. You can even tell for some secret areas when you found them, because there's a canoe-sized area filled with fucking water, and you're like, oh, I wonder where I'll go next. Well, that's on land. Oh, yeah, and that part's on land. That's a ladder, so I can't climb the ladder. Maybe I'll go down this narrow channel, just like I did the last fucking 18 times. It is legit like in The Simpsons when they have like Night Boat or whatever the fuck it is, and like Lisa and Bart are like, oh, every week there's always a canal or an inlet or a fjord. It's always very convenient how close they are to being able to drive a fucking boat up the one path they need, because otherwise the entire fucking concept falls over. So yeah, this whole game takes place in a area that is accessible by canoe, and I worked very hard to not like kill anyone. I was trying to go like pacifist, never shooting anyone. And then you get to this point where like there's these high value targets, and you scan them with your binoculars, and you scan them and it's like, oh, that's blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, I could just fucking blap any cunt in a fucking red hat, right? Like, just if they're wearing a red hat, I'll just fucking do them and that'll be fine. But no, you got to scan them to find out who they are, and then you can shoot them. And like, I shot this dude right while he was walking next to his friend. Oh my god, this game is so fucking dumb. This dude, so like the guard guy who I didn't shoot, right? The friend of the guy I shot, right, would be walking around with like chunks of fucking gray matter on him from the dude I shot, because I fucking blapped him in the fucking brain, right? And the guard like wanders over and he's like, who did that? And he literally shines his flashlight on me. But if you're in a hidden area and not moving, you are perfectly hidden. Even though you can like the flashlight's shining on my fucking oar. No, don't worry about it. Right? Best thing about it is you're like going through and disabling these satellites or some shit. And yeah, you've got options. You can shoot the generators, or you can disable it from below, because every single satellite has like a thing that you can sort of just paddle up to. This is how satellites are actually constructed in real life, so it makes sense. It's fully realistic. What they do is like when they're making satellites, they're like, all right, but if the area became flooded, right, how would you disable the thing? We'll just make it so that you can very easily canoe your way into the underneath area, and that's probably safe. That'll probably work, and that's what they do. And yeah, it doesn't look great. I don't think graphically it's very good. The AI is awful. The story, holy shit! Why does this game take it so like even Metal Gear had the fucking good sense to like, I don't know, have a dude shit his pants, right? Like this game, I can't tell if this was on purpose, but the closest this game got to being funny, and I fucked up and didn't capture this, but the closest it got to being funny was when this woman is talking to some dude about like I think it's she's got like a kid or something, and like the kid is going to enlist, and apparently like when you like there's a trigger to trigger moving them like on from the conversation. When you move into that trigger, the way she finishes her conversation is to cough, and like literally when she was standing, like the guy had literally just turned to face her while they were chatting about this kid. And then I moved over the trigger and she like coughs. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, did that lady just cough in that dude's face? Like, that's the funniest the game got. And
she just Karened everybody.
When I say it out loud, it wasn't very funny. But yeah, it's just, it takes itself so seriously the whole fucking time. And I don't understand. Anyway, yeah, so I've played about 2 hours of it total now. Each time it makes me feel sicker than I've ever been in my fucking VR life, VR career. And yeah, I'm starting to feel like, and like, you know, obviously it's built for the Oculus fucking controllers, so the Vive isn't perfect for it. It's not that bad. It's not that big a deal. There's just like sometimes I will like bring up a menu instead of doing what I wanted to do or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, fundamentally, my first experience of buying a game off the Oculus store, and I fucking hate it. Big heap regret. Anyway, fuck Phantom Covert Ops.
All right.
Yep.
There you go. What else we got?
Shall we continue to avoid the big games?
Yeah. Yep.
Portal 2.
Okay.
So I already installed Portal 2.
Why?
Well, no, I bought and installed Portal 2 because I only had it on PlayStation, I think. Oh
wow, I think
why?
I think I might be the same. Portal. Yeah. Oh no, I've got it on PC. Right. Because yeah, I remember they gave us review code for that on PlayStation.
Yeah. Which was weird. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't know why I did. I don't know. I just wanted to check out a game, I guess. Check out some of these like community made maps and stuff.
Okay.
And pretty good stuff. Like, yeah. There's like 2 really good ones. 12 Angry Tests has a sort of simplistic narrative to it where like it's just a bunch of extra puzzles. That's basically what they do. Like they just do these extra puzzles based on the Portal mechanics. I think they were experiments like 12 Angry Tests. I think experiments with some like less used mechanics. So you wind up like doing some. I don't know. There's some real mind benders because like you can't just immediately shift back into the basic thinking with Portal's like mindset. But yeah, like it's got like a boss fight and it's not difficult, but it's interesting and yeah, that's about it. I don't know. It's just I think like 13 levels. The first one's really easy. And it just sort of gets you into it. The really good one that I played was the Unreal Chamber. And honestly, I think every single fucking person should play this one. It is phenomenal. If you've got Portal 2, you should fucking play this game. These mods. There's only fucking, I think, 8 levels. But they are phenomenal. What they did, who made it? Did it say who made it? I'm looking at the page for it now. Enderlux. What Enderlux did is that they've layered the maps on top of one another. I don't even know how to fucking explain it. You've got these like you will look through a doorway And if you go to the sides of the door, you see a completely different room than what's through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of them, you can loop through that door a couple of times and you'll wind up in a completely different area. And so all of the maps are built around that concept. And it's such a fucking head fuck, eh? Like it just I just think it's phenomenal. Like Endelux did such a fucking good job with this.
How do you spell that?
This idea. Endelux.
Yeah.
ENDERLUX.
Okay.
It's probably, if you're getting the community, like it's probably easier to go to the workshop and just search for Unreal Chamber.
Right.
But because like they've made it so that you can easily get all of them pretty quickly. But yeah, like the way they just fucking like the very first level has you like walking around in circles, or like walking, like you walk from the start of the level and you will accomplish something, and then you turn back and you walk back towards the start of the level, and it's you're in a different room. Like you never even saw anything. It just changed. It reminded me of in Control, where like is it the ashtray maze where you couldn't like trust where you had been, and to build puzzles out of it, it's fucking phenomenal. And they're so it's so seamlessly done. And like it does other things like I think it's this window puzzle type thing where you walk all the way up to a window, and then when you look down and take a step back, you'll have teleported through to the other window, and you've still got portals that you can access. And so you've got to use, it's just fucking amazing. It was really good.
Cool.
So yeah, definitely worth
doing. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Any others?
Yeah,
that you've
got
seen,
Portal 2. No, those are the only ones I've played. But I would happily check out what other ones there are to play and stuff, because it
looks like it's a little bit old. Unreal Chambers, 6 years old, it looks like.
It's a little old, but definitely worth the effort.
That's what I'm interested in seeing with the workshop for Half-Life Alyx, because they've sort of, a lot of the updates for Half-Life Alyx recently have been adding a bunch of stuff to the workshop. I haven't jumped in to see like what people what they've made, but I've sort of, every once in a while I'll jump into like the Half-Life Alyx Reddit page and sort of see what people are making over there. And every once in a while there's like maps and levels that people have boosted up, and I think I'll give it some time because that game's only been out a couple of months, and it's probably just people sort of figuring out how to use those tools and that sort of stuff. So I'll wait and see. Like I think there was one I saw where it was just an open area where you could fight Jeff. And that was about it. Like they just put him in an open area, and it's like they give you a crowbar or something and off you go.
Right.
Yeah, so there's probably some cool stuff out there. Anyway, awesome. What else we got?
The last one on the list is Neon Abyss. So Neon Abyss is available on the Xbox Games Pass, Ultimate Pass, whatever the fuck it's called, right now. And it is a roguelike shooter, sort of reminds me of, I guess,
it's like a platformer.
Yeah, so like Enter the Gungeon, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you go through and you open doors, you shoot all the enemies, you try not to die too much or take much damage, and then you move on. But what's happening while you play it is you're picking up these eggs, and these eggs hatch into these little minions that help you out in a variety of ways. They might they might shoot, they might throw bombs, they might soak up damage, or heal you, or collect coins for you, all kinds of shit. They do all kinds of shit, and yeah, like as you find them, if you find multiples of them, they'll upgrade, and yeah, you just wind up in this like finding eggs, and there's a minor amount of like a Pokemon feeling where you're like hoping to find a certain type each time, and it's quite exciting to play because it's very new, and I think I come to a lot of roguelikes or roguelites, whatever the fuck, whichever word it is. I come to them quite late in the party a lot of the time, and so it's very easy for me when I arrive at them to just sort of fucking look up a wiki about anything I don't quite understand. But no such wiki exists at this point, so I sort of have to
figure it out
to work it out myself. Yeah. You know, we talk about this all the time, but yeah, the tourist versus explorer thing. Generally, I prefer to be a tourist. But yeah, like it's interesting. There seems to be quite a lot to this game. Like there's quite a lot of depth, it feels like. And yeah, you go through over and over. You know, as you die, you unlock a couple of new abilities. I've unlocked a room where like you're playing on one of those big like pianos you can walk on, which is pretty weird. I don't know what happens if you get to the end of it because I keep fucking up. But yeah, like you fight bosses and you like they get harder and harder. You level up your weapons, and you've got all these like weird like a lot of it, like most good roguelites / likes, whichever one. A lot of the power of the game, a lot of what's good about the game is learning the minor details, learning what you want or what you don't want. You find certain things and you're like, all right, I don't know why I would want that. I found a gun where your eggs wouldn't ever hatch. And I don't know why I would want my eggs to never hatch. But I found a power up that made it so that my eggs acted as bombs. So maybe there's a lot of stuff that winds up getting hidden behind like bricks. And the only way to break those bricks is by getting bombs. And so maybe I prefer to use my eggs as bombs, but personally I prefer to use my eggs as eggs. Or I can't remember what. I think that might be the matchbox where your eggs are used as bombs. It makes it really difficult to like if you walk near a wall or a door, you just wind up fucking blowing up. So even if a coin or an item falls down near a brick, you just like, well, one of these eggs is gonna fucking go, and you take damage from the explosion. So it's very difficult to fucking handle. So next time I play, if I see the fucking matchbox, I won't pick it up, you know? And there's a lot of items, so there's a lot of interactions between those items. Like one item might not seem that good on the base level, but then you get like, oh, okay, another like that, you know, eggs or bombs thing, right? Might not seem that good, but there was another gun I got where you had like a Tamagotchi, which was it was like an egg that would never hatch. And so maybe I could use that as my bomb egg and still collect other eggs and stuff like that. And you start to think about the ways the game interacts within itself, and you know, all those little things, those little synergies, I guess, that occur as you play the game more and more. And yeah, you learn, you know, you get these messages of, you know, something dark has happened nearby or something like that. You're like, I don't know what the fuck that means. But as you play more and more, you work that out, and you're like, okay, well, I get that. Like, I get what that would lead to, and yeah, you're learning the items, you're learning the fucking guns and the enemies, and yeah, you just get to a point where you like got a good handle on how the fucking game works, and works really well. I think it might be a little too RNG dependent.
Mm-hmm.
I've a number of times I've felt just purely RNG fucked. Like I'm going into the like fucking third level. I've searched every single room. I had a bunch of eggs, but they all wound up hatching. And sometimes when they hatch, nothing happens. So they hatched and I got nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't have the bombs I needed to fucking like get to any chests in the last level. So I know where chests are. I've got some keys, but I don't like I've got like fucking 3 power-ups. The 3 power-ups basically you get for every fucking level. And yeah, I'm going into this like this next level feeling woefully under equipped. I just don't know how you're supposed to play around that. And I suppose on some level you're supposed to like learn how to play around it. Like maybe at some point I will understand it, but it seems a lot easier to just reset if the game is going to play you like that. If you're going to
Right.
wind up not having found any fucking good artifacts or any good fucking guns, or all your eggs are hatching to nothing, maybe just reset because you
But are you taking
like
anything with you when the reset happens?
you take these. So when you kill a boss, you take like some fucking gold gem, and you can use that to unlock extra things. So the first one is I think you unlock there's a hidden level on every single hidden room on every level,
Hmm.
and then from there you sort of it branches out. You can work out other things. So that's how I got the piano room, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway. You get like a lot of them are like they're not uh they're more like items that like you'll be able to find in the world as opposed to pure unlocks that like increase your ability to do things.
Right.
But yeah, it's an interesting, like I don't know if it expands once you reach the end of the a single tree, because I've sort of it's like a tech tree in Civilization or something where it starts at a single point and then it branches out, but it seems to end quite soon. And I don't know if it will fucking continue on after that, because I've been spreading the love. I've been going across 3 trees as opposed to going all the way down one. So I don't know what will happen, but obviously I will wait and see. I'm enjoying it a lot, and yeah, like I said, it's free on Xbox Game Pass, so it's definitely worth grabbing from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like you may as well. It's just a good shooter roguelike. I play it mouse and keyboard. I don't know how it would go on controller. It'd probably go okay. Because yeah, it has a bit of a twin stick shooter vibe to it. But and I have noticed sometimes like when the screen gets super cluttered, they can get a lot of fucking enemies in it. And when the screen gets super cluttered, it can be difficult to work out where the fuck your cursor is, except
Hmm.
based on where you're shooting. It might be easier to do with like with a thumbstick, or I could just pay more attention, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not going to play it with controller, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'll check it out. I've got it on my screen open at the moment. So once we're done here, I'll install it.
nice.
And I guess that'll tie us over till next week when Rogue Legacy 2's out, right?
Oh, is that next week?
Yeah, that's early access next week.
Shit, eh? Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. All right. Sweets.
All right.
Cool.
You've been playing some games that are coming out at the end of this year. So 2 big ones.
2 big ones, yes. Let's go with Assassin's Creed Valhalla first. And I suppose you will be able to watch if you watch this on YouTube, you'll be able to see some gameplay footage of Assassin's Creed Valhalla in action. So I played this at a preview session. I actually had to go into an office. It was pretty weird. It was a very empty office, like literally just me and the people required to run the fucking preview. And the people were like, there were two previews. There was one other preview, but otherwise I was in this giant fucking boardroom alone with a computer. And very safely socially distanced. I think they did a pretty good job with that shit. But anyway, they chucked me straight into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They got me to watch a presentation, I guess. It was sort of autonomously run, but also not. It wasn't a video. It was more a presentation than a video.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. They explained some things. You know, they do these presos. Oh, look, there's a cat. They explain some of the things that they want you to notice. They do these in previews all the time. They'll like take you through and they're like, oh, and make sure you're aware that you can do an assault or go on a raid, or why don't you try out flighting? Flighting is Viking rap battles. I'm like, all right, that seems weird, but I'm sure I will try to find it. I did find flighting. And then, finally they let you go in. They're always good to give you some idea of just how wide you can go with these games. Because otherwise, you might just do the basic stuff and never try to find any of the goofy shit. Then they let me in. You play as Eivor, the Viking warrior, and she or he, you can choose either gender. I played as a lady. Is basically like you're thrust quite deep into the game. So we didn't have access to like the settlement, which I think is the main thing you upgrade throughout the game. We didn't have access to any of that. So you just sort of thrust into the game and given the ability to go wherever the fuck you want. It's set in England in the 9th century. Or is that the 10th century? Which one is the 900s? 10th century. You're a Viking going to England. This is something that literally happened. The Viking Age, I believe it was called, and they went over to England. They looted and pillaged across the fucking lands. As I said in my preview on Survivor, a lot of my fucking understanding of ancient English history is from Bernard Cornwell books. So, don't fucking quote me on this shit. I'm not like, this isn't hardcore history or some shit. I'm not Dan Carlin. I don't know fucking all the history and shit. But as far as I understand, this is based on something that actually happened. And so you wind up with, being a Viking rolling around England. And it's pretty cool. We were in East England, which was a real place back in the day. And my job was to get this dude, Oswald, to be crowned the king of East Anglia. Sorry, not England, Anglia. Crowned the king of East Anglia, but also I was getting him to marry, I think she was my sister. I don't know. It was like, one of those Crusader Kings type things where a political marriage type thing. It was like as stories go, it was hard to contextualize a lot of what was going on. I didn't really understand any of the characters or who they were, and they were talking about making like light reference to things that I didn't really understand. So I didn't pay much attention to the story, I guess, because of that. It just wasn't, I didn't find it personally interesting because I wasn't invested in it. So we might skip past the story stuff, except there's a wedding. The gameplay demo effectively ends with a wedding. between Oswald and your sister, I think.
Is it a red wedding? Mm-hmm.
It's not a red wedding, no. But I don't know if you saw many of the previews, but people were talking about how they got real Witcher vibes from it. And this wedding is what gave me the Witcher vibes more than anything else.
Why is that?
Because you go to a wedding in The Witcher, and you go to a wedding in this, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And there's a vaguely British theme to all of The Witcher, and there's a vaguely British theme to everything going on in fucking this as well. So yeah. Anyway, right at the end, after the ceremony in the wedding, you can take part in some wedding festivities. So there's like a drinking game, or like a game where you like chug a bunch of shit and then you have to shoot your bow and like the target sways and stuff.
Yep.
And then there's a drinking game which is literally just like a rhythm tapper type thing. And then a dude wanders up and like propositions you. And he'll proposition you whether you're male or female. He doesn't care. But he hits you up, and you can have sex with him if you want. The best part about it is afterwards, he goes, "Oh, that was pretty good," and you can go, "Yeah, I had a good time," and you can refer to him by his brother's name, and holy shit, hilarious! Like he's just not happy in general. He's just not a happy chappy as a result.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the best part of the story related stuff from my perspective. Anyway, the gameplay is quite good. Like it's probably the Soulsiest. You know how they've sort of trended towards this more Souls style combat.
Yeah.
With light and heavy on R1 and R2, and like parry and block.
Yeah. Stamina bars and
yeah. This is probably the best rendition of the concept so far. Because prior to this, Origins, I felt like it didn't really get it. Didn't have stamina, or the stamina didn't matter, or something like that, right? So it didn't really work for me. And then Odyssey, they got rid of shields and really heavily emphasized this fast-paced style of combat, which reminded me a lot more of Bloodborne, but I didn't feel like the dodging was robust enough to carry it. And this one, they've got a good balance. I feel like I think what's happening is the team that did Origins is doing Valhalla, or is primary on Valhalla.
Yeah.
So they've had an opportunity to refine the system that they were trying to make in Origins. And so this feels like, I felt like Odyssey's combat was a step back from Origins in a lot of ways, a step forward in others, but this feels like it's just a better version of Origins combat. You can dual wield weapons, and like each weapon you dual wield like has a vastly different ability. Like you can get a flail that has a stick, a chain, and a giant fucking spiky ball on the end, and you can use that to fucking wallop cunts. But if you put that in your offhand, what happens is whenever you parry, you'll always do a parry move, and then if it's successful, you'll do an attack. Or if you just want to attack, you press the parry button by default, and he'll do that as his attack, like the parry, or her attack as the parry like move. So it alters the animation itself. And so you got to get used to the timing on that. But the timing is also different if you've got like the flail in your main hand and an axe in your offhand. You can like very quickly follow up the parry with a chop. If you successfully parry someone, it seems like you'll always get that fucking hit in, whether it's a slow weapon or a fast weapon in the offhand. But like I think the amount of damage and the timing it does, and the ability to take on other like people, like your capacity for dealing with other people in the fight, because you won't be attacked one at a time. You aren't like attacked all at once, but you won't be attacked one at a time. Like multiple. I think 3 people attacked me. I didn't see any more than 3, all at the same time. And yeah, like it sort of works out that way because you can parry multiple. Like sometimes they'll strike at the same time, and you can parry both of them at the same time.
Like Batman.
Like Batman.
Batman combat.
Yeah, slightly similar, but I felt it was far less forgiving compared to Batman. So certainly less flashy.
It wasn't the I was thinking stamina bar. It wasn't a stamina bar. It was like a power bar or something where you hit somebody, and the more damage you do, allows you to use these like little abilities that you had.
Adrenaline, yeah.
Adrenaline, yeah. So that was in Odyssey because I played that recently, and so like you could mash a button, like it'd be like RB and something, and is that still in there, or they've just completely gone away from that and it's now a stamina system?
No, so you do have that, and you've got stamina as well. So stamina affects your ability to swing and stuff, and like adrenaline affects your abilities to do like specific attacks and stuff, and yeah, it just winds up being a very good combination. I think like as combos go, it's just you've got to manage the stamina, and you have to manage your adrenaline, and having a lot of adrenaline up allows you to do like some of the fucking moves you can do are quite flashy. Like you can do the reveal trailer move where she throws a bunch of fucking axes and like lodges them in people. As it does like a lot of fucking damage. It's a real good way to like break up the fight and slow people down. Like if there's a lot of people coming at you, you can pop that and it'll give you a little bit of stagger time. That's all adrenaline. At the same time, you've got stamina, and you've got health. You don't regain health. You don't regenerate health. You have to pick up fucking stuff off the ground to get your health back, which significantly like makes it more complex. Because you're not just managing like your stamina and your adrenaline, and now you're managing your health, and you're managing like your healing items. If you take a hit, you need to make sure you can regain that damage, but you don't want to fucking heal as soon as you take any damage because it's a waste of your healing items and stuff like that.
Sure.
There's also like the timing of the fucking heal as well. It takes a couple of seconds, so you can't just fucking pop it out of nowhere. Like there's a lot of fucking. It feels like there's a lot of depth to the combat. I think it works out quite well. Yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it. Like when I say it's the most soulsy the combat has ever been, that is absolutely not to say that it is Dark Souls combat. It is not anywhere close to it, but it definitely, you can see how it takes that inspiration.
Yeah.
Like
it's slowly moving away from the Batman combat that it's had
exactly
for a long time, and I think I can't remember what game they started with. I feel like it was Origins, but they started to slowly move away from that and move towards Dark Souls, like having proper parry systems and some like weight behind a lot of these weapons.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what they've done here in a really good way, I think. Yeah, it all works really well. I can't think of if there's anything else specific to the combat. There's particularly, I mean, there's different enemy types. There's like basic enemies and stuff like that. I did notice that it reused some animations. I think they need to work on broadening out those animations, because you've got like, you can stun attacks or you can stun people once like they've got a bar I guess sort of like a, what's it called? Fucking, I guess a stagger bar. It has a different name in fucking Dark Souls, right? Posture, maybe. I don't know. Whatever the fuck it's called. You've got a bar that you can fill up, and once you fill that up, they get stunned. And if you can stun someone, you can do like an execution type thing.
Yeah.
But I noticed that a lot of those executions like were the same. Like you just saw the same one over and over again. And I'm not a fan of that. I want to see a lot more. I saw more like killing blows, like stylistic killing blows, when I was just randomly beating the fuck out of people compared to actual execution attacks. And I just think that's a bit weird. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. You got bows and arrows, and Odyssey they got rid of you just had the one type of bow, right? You just had that fast bow, but they've gone back to like 3 different types, like in Origins, like the same 3, Predator and whatever the fuck they were, and they were all very different in their firing rate and their capacity and what you use them for. I think you get different arrows as well. You got different bow abilities. I don't really use the bow, so I don't really fucking have a good idea of it. You got 2-handed weapons as well as dual wielding weapons. You got shields back. They got rid of shields in Odyssey, but they've put them back in Valhalla. I wouldn't use them. I didn't like I think the parry window is easier than Batman, but I also think that it's certainly not a fucking difficult parry system. Like timing it is very fucking easy. The only reason you'd use a shield, I think, is if you felt like you were, I guess, like definitely going to take damage, like not from like there's unblockable attacks. Actually fucking hilarious. So when they're doing an attack you can parry, you press like it flashes orange, and when they're doing an attack you can't parry, it flashes red. And I was the other person playing at the same time as me was G-Man Lives, and we were chatting afterwards. We went and grabbed a beer, and we were chatting afterwards. And my dude, G-Man, was like, I don't understand the parry system. Like, sometimes when you parry, just fucking nothing happens. Like, it flashes red and you parry and it's fine. And then sometimes it flashes red and you parry and you still get hit. I'm like, no, it flashes orange. And it turns out he's colorblind. So yeah, he didn't have a good chance at parrying in that situation, but obviously they'll implement accessibility type stuff to rectify that. That's just funny. Oh yeah, so yeah, you got 2-handed weapons, shields. Yeah, the only time you'd use a shield is if you felt like you couldn't get the parry timing down, and I think that would make it a little bit easier to handle. Otherwise, I think you just, the shield doesn't bring enough. Although, as we noticed in the presentation, you can wield 2 shields, double shields. So maybe you do the double shield. Sadly, I didn't do double shields because I never found a second fucking shield. But I wish I had. I definitely would have double shielded.
We were watching that presentation, and they said you could wield 2 weapons, and they said shields were retiring. I literally was thinking in my mind, I wonder if you can use 2 shields. And then like 2 seconds later, it had the dude like bashing people with 2 shields. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a bug or it was intended, but I managed to equip my 2-handed weapon in my offhand, and you don't want to do that under any circumstances. Holy shit, it is just awful. Like you keep punching as your main attack, and then you'll use your 2-hander as your like fucking parry attack, and it just doesn't work. Fundamentally doesn't work. It is just a dumb way to play. anyway, yeah, all in all, I think the combat's quite good. There's a lot of variety in the different weapons and stuff, spears and axes and like one-handed axes, giant axes, all that kind of stuff. It's just yeah, I think they've done a really good job with that shit.
What about the world?
The world, yeah. So the world's yeah, I guess this is another area where you get those Witcher vibes. I mean, it's little huts in the middle of nowhere. You're rolling around. One thing I didn't like about Odyssey was that I felt like I was being fucking overwhelmed by the amount of shit that I could do. I did not get that feeling in this. I do not feel like you are inundated with shit in Valhalla. They've reduced the amount of stuff that appears on your like radial dial on your radial compass. And so instead you've just got sort of mission critical stuff or waypoints that you've specifically set, and it's everything else is sort of relegated to stuff you spot with you've got a crow instead of an eagle. If you spot stuff with your crow, then you can see it when you go up to it. And so it sort of restricts stuff in that sense to only what is immediately nearby, which I think is a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, so what Assassin's, or not even Assassin's Creed, but a bunch of Ubisoft games have done lately is this multiple modes, like the exploration mode or the we'll show you where to go. And did you get a choice at all as how to play that preview?
No, we didn't. We didn't have anything like that, but I certainly hope that they add that exploration mode in. I think this game, as much as I enjoy the combat, I think this would be a really cool game to just sort of wander around in and go looking. Because a lot of the items that you find out in the worlds are hidden behind some really cool like physics puzzles, or like there's fire propagation. I don't know if you saw that or noticed that in the fucking video they made, but yeah, fire propagation. So you can light a thatched roof on fire and it will spread immensely. So that's pretty cool. I don't know why you'd burn down houses of a place that you're trying to live in, but you can do it. I absolutely found a puzzle that was built around like propagating fire.
Cool.
And like hit a secret item, so that was pretty cool. What else? There's a lot, like, even though you don't necessarily have a shit ton on your radial compass, there's still a lot going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across a bunch of like little side quests out of nowhere without even realizing that I was going into side quests. Which is really cool. I think it's a really cool way to do it. It feels very organic. Like some kids who were ran across some kids who were just sort of stealing from a shrine or something, and I like helped them out and stuff. Just like, but if I hadn't run up to the shrine in the first place, I just sort of ran up to the shrine because it was an interesting thing in the world. But if I hadn't run up to it, then I wouldn't have found them. So it was just like that exploratory based side questing that I think is really cool. And they've done a really good job. But yeah. What else? You can call your horse over at any time. It's a good horse. I stole this little girl's horse by accident, and she wasn't happy about it. But I don't really understand how that one worked. There was a horse.
Sorry, go on.
No, there was a horse, and I jumped on it. And I thought it was my horse, and I rode it like 2 meters in the wrong direction, and she like lost her shit and started yelling about how I was a horse thief. I'm like, all right, fucking calm down. What if the horse ran the wrong way? You don't know that. You don't know it was all me. Like, get fucked, little girl. I couldn't shoot her in the face with the bow, though, so oh well. Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Was there any Assassin's Creed stuff in the game?
Like modern
Like,
stuff?
well, no, not even that. Just
specifically
like any explanation as to why this person has, like, are they part of it, or because I remember when I played Origins, I played that recently, and I mean the amount of hours I spent into it, I think they took us out of the Animus once, and other than that, they never mentioned like the main character being a part of anything. Like they just kind of did the story and off they went. Like it didn't even need to be a part of the Assassin's Creed universe at that stage.
So I specifically wasn't allowed to capture any footage. But there were Animus anomalies in
Right.
the game. I believe I'm allowed to mention them. I never found them. And nobody I talked to found them either.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we weren't allowed to show that stuff under any circumstances. I agree. It doesn't need to be an Assassin's Creed. I think Assassin's Creed is just a brand at this point, and like the games themselves generally would be better if they just abandoned the link to the assassin stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like who is out there being like, fuck, I can't wait to get the next chapter on what is happening in the meta universe of Assassin's Creed. Fuck yes. That's what I play these
until
games
they stopped
for.
doing any of it. Like
you've literally had a fight with the Pope over a fucking golden apple.
Yep.
When some aliens showed up or some shit. You're like, fuck yeah. Can't wait for chapter 2 on this one. You're like, gotta find out more about this.
I wanted to know what happened with Nolan North and
yeah.
what was her name? The lady that was in it. I can't remember anymore.
Know. Are we sexist? Almost definitely, but maybe not for this reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember either. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, it doesn't need to be an Assassin's Creed game. I did some flighting. It's basically just like a timed conversation.
Kristen Bell.
Yes. That is 100% it. Anyway, yeah, did some Viking rap battles. Yeah, you basically you got a time limit and you got to respond with a rhyme.
Cool.
Against the person who's talking to you. What else? There's like some major like towns and stuff that you can go to. I think they're still doing like the power level thing, where like certain areas have different power levels. Because I noticed right at the end of my session, everywhere I went, motherfuckers would one hit me, like full blown, and not even like chopping me. I'm talking like these dudes. Like I was fighting these 3 dudes who were taking way too much damage, like taking ages to fucking kill, and then like, but on the outskirts were these dudes like slinging rocks at me, and if those rocks hit me, I would die.
You got gulagged.
I got gulagged 100%. But yeah, like they would do, I think it was like 95% of my fucking health. So like just from rocks. So yeah, I think they do have the power level scaling thing. That seemed a little aggressive, if I'm being honest. Because I'm pretty sure I was still in East Anglia at the time. It's not like I left the fucking region to go somewhere higher, but I was getting fucking wrecked. What else?
Like,
you can go anywhere.
Division had that where you'd be running down the street and you're in an area, and the next to you is like a higher level area, and you're in a fight in this street, but someone's like on the other side, and you accidentally hit them, and they just fucking one shot you, and you're like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I see how I deserve that. What was I going to say? Oh, the thing that confused me about it was that it wasn't like they had skulls above them or anything. You know, I
Right.
couldn't tell what power level they were or anything.
Yeah.
It's a very reduced UI, so yeah. I mean, it was like good, like I was saying. I prefer a very reduced UI, but yeah, it was very confusing as to what was happening. Based on the world map that I looked at, it seemed like you could go almost anywhere in England, or like I don't fucking know the geography of fucking Great Britain, but is the main island called what's that fucking island called?
I don't know.
Like, because it's not just England, right? Like, there's Wales and there's fucking Ireland up the top, or North Ireland at least.
United
And then
Kingdom.
main island is, but what's the, like? It's made up, like the British Isles are made up of a bunch of islands, right?
Sure.
And there's like Scotland and Ireland, and then the one island that
Wales,
has
Northern Ireland.
yeah, like that's all on the one fucking island, right? Alongside England. But what's that big like? It seems like you can go anywhere on that fucking island, whatever the fuck it's called.
The Kingdom of Great Britain.
That's not helpful. That's not a name for a fucking island. God damn it.
I don't know.
Except it seemed like you couldn't go to Wales. That's
Okay.
what it looked like based on the map I looked at.
DLC.
I don't know if maybe Wales. Yeah. Anyway. Anything else? I don't think so.
No, I'm interested. I mean, I really liked Origins. I really liked Black Flag. It's the same team that did those two games. So, same main team. There's obviously like 12 Ubisoft studios working on it, but I'm definitely
the primary team. Yep. Cool. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
Oh, actually, one thing before we move on to Watch Dogs Legion, I was doing, so they got these raids, and you can call in a raid at any time. You can start fishing whenever the fuck you want. It's very cool. But you can do these raids, and you basically go up to an occupied village, and you blow on your horn, and you like your long ship will show up with a bunch of motherfuckers, and you'll just start a raid. And you'll raid the village. But that's sort of like a small version of an assault. I think the video that I'll send you will just be the assault, because we can only show 10 minutes of footage. The assault is like a multi-stage battle where you start at like the shores, and then you like use a battering ram to get through each layer of the castle's battlements, and then you get to the end and you take over the castle. It's a heavily fortified area. But yeah, the fucking holy shit, man. The checkpoints in this assault were fucking rough. Every time I died, or when I died, what happened was I didn't realize I needed to, like, I thought I was trying to still trying to get my battering ram to like bust through into the final area of the castle. But what I needed to do was climb up over the fucking wall and start the boss fight. So what I was doing was I was like continuously fighting while I was waiting for the battering ram to come up. And I was just like fighting all over this fucking last area instead of climbing up and over. And because you don't regenerate health, you can't fight forever. So eventually I ran out of healing items, and I wasn't getting hit. Like, this took fucking ages, mind you, like ages, because I lasted forever, but eventually like these big dudes will come out and they do a lot of fucking hits in a row. And so you can parry, but other people are attacking you at the same time, and it's difficult to fucking get all that timing right. So you'll take hits, and eventually I died, and it reset me to the start of the fucking assault, like 3 stages back, which is rough. It's not like in Dark Souls where you can just run straight back to the fucking boss fight. Like, you have to do each stage of that assault again. So the one thing I think they desperately need to fucking fix before the game comes out is checkpointing. If the assault checkpointing is anything to go on, it specifically needs to be altered, because that was just shitty. That was just a bad experience. It didn't endear me to the assault at all. But yeah, the assault itself was real fun. Like, there's a lot to take into account. It feels like you are involved in each elements of the assault, but yeah, the checkpointing was objectively bad, I think.
Anyway. Still keen to play it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it didn't mute my enthusiasm for the game at all. It just I just didn't want to finish without mentioning it, because it was very annoying. And I know, obviously, they're listening to this podcast, waiting to hear what I thought. So anyway, Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion. I've been fucking keen for this game for fucking ages. I've been hanging out for fucking yonks.
Oh yeah.
You can be anyone, as they say. It's been made by Clint Hocking, who made Far Cry 2. There's a real driven systems-based, system-focused designer. And obviously, modern open world games are my fucking jam.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just fucking about it. Finally got my hands on it. Fuck yeah. I mean, I think everyone's made mention at this point of how they've reduced elements of how it works. There's no longer the class system is reduced a little bit, and permadeath has been muted a little bit, and these kinds of things. But regardless, it fucking hammers. It plays as good as I thought it would, to be honest. It is a game where you go in, you can go anywhere in London, and you just fuck about hacking things.
And
X to because hack. Of the X to hack, yeah.
X to hack.
And because they've broadened and expanded the idea of play as anyone the way they have, it's not just, you're not just perving on people's bank accounts anymore. You're deep diving into people's fucking lives to work out what they've been doing and what they're going to do, so you can figure out what makes them tick, so you can bring them to your side. And there's obviously something weirdly innately gross about it, but at the same time you can't look away. It's just fascinating the way it works. I was constantly, I drove around if you read my preview on Survivor, you'll notice obviously a truncated version of what happened, because I had 3 hours, and the events outlined in that wouldn't have taken 3 hours. But yeah, I spent so much time just walking around crowds, scanning people to find out what they were about, see what cool things were out there. And I didn't even see them all. I mean, I saw press start Shannon Grixty found a fucking robotic beekeeper, and I never saw a fucking robotic beekeeper. That's fucking sick. Summon a swarm of fucking bees. That's amazing. yeah, there's that. I found a fucking hitman. They showed him in Ubisoft Forward, the hitman class or character or archetype or whatever you call it. He's fucking amazing. Like, I dropped everything to add him to the. As soon as I saw it, like when you scan someone real quick, you can see what their basics are. So you scan a hitman, and it's like professional hitman abilities. Like he's got a good gun, he's got a good assault rifle, and he can do gun kata, and gun kata allows him to fucking like take
John
down
Wick.
people any fucking time. Exactly. Like, and it's brutal. This is not like fucking casual takedowns. Like he fucking karate chops him in the side of the neck or something. He legit like fucking like walks up and like grabs him and fucking from behind pops two in their fucking head from behind and then drops them. And he doesn't have a silenced weapon, so that alerts everyone, and they'll run up to him. And if they try to hit him with something, he'll grab their arm and like fucking two in the chest, or like swing him around and two in the back, or one in the back and one on the back of the head. And you're like, holy fuck! Like this dude is John Wicking the shit out of everyone, and it is phenomenal. Like, it almost feels like the power disparity at play in Watch Dogs Legion might be a problem, right? Because I had him and I had a spy character. And the spy character has a silenced weapon, and holy shit, like you like people don't even know what's going on. Like people are just dropping, and you're good to fucking move on. Like blap, walk up further, blap, blap, next person, blap, done. You got to fucking watch where you can, like, if someone does spot you and they take aim, you fucking watch, jam everyone's gun in a certain range, and you fucking blap, 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 dead. You fucking move on again. It's like they didn't even get to shoot, so nobody else is alerted outside of the fucking immediate radius. Like, they're like the spy and the hitman feel so fucking good that's like, why would you use anyone else? That's probably the biggest fucking worry that I have about Legion, is that like, why would you ever use anyone except for these two fucking like murder gods?
Yeah. Like, why would you use grandma?
Why would you use grandma? Yeah. So I was trying to get the grandma. In the interview afterwards, apparently, that Steve conducted, apparently grandmas are like, you can find them on like in areas that grandmas might be, and the area they put us in for the preview was like a youth area, youth oriented. So if you went somewhere where a grandma might be, I don't know where the fuck grandmas hang out in London, but if you went there, then you'd find a lot more grandmas, and it'd be a lot easier to find one that was easy to recruit. But all I found was one who didn't want a bar of either of us. And so I had to like dig deep. And you can do this, you like potential recruit, and then you can hit like I think it's deep profile. And so you can deep profile anyone you've scanned and like tagged as a potential recruit. And when you do that, you see all of their like what they've been doing all day and what they will do for the rest of the day and for tomorrow. And you can work out from there like their entire life, basically. And so this person went and visited a friend in prison. So if I can get that person out of prison, then they might be and recruit them to DedSec, then they might be able to help me recruit their friend to DedSec.
Yeah,
and like there's these chain,
crazy.
this crazy fucking chain of like cause and effect that's at play within this game that is like honestly pretty staggering. And I had to go get this, like capture the details of these two fucking Albion guards, and they're in a very tightly locked location. And I accidentally shot one of them in the fucking head with a nail gun. And that was a mistake. That didn't help my cause. Grandma didn't want anything to do with me after that. So that fucked the mission of getting a grandma, unfortunately.
And there's like permadeath, right?
I honestly don't know. Because I went and got myself killed on purpose. And, well, I thought I got killed. And I got arrested. So I don't know the circumstances that must be in place for you to be killed, perma-killed. Yeah, I found that quite confusing, and I didn't get a good answer.
Because when they showed the original, way back with the previews, they were talking about you could fail missions, and then you'd need to figure out another way to try and do it. Like, that person has died. Oh, okay, now you're someone else, and how do you solve that problem? There's obviously a point where you can't just keep failing the same mission. Surely, how does the game progress then?
Well, I guess the grandma thing is a pretty good example, right? So I could still go and recruit that grandma. I could still go back and find her and recruit her. She didn't want the person that I was looking into to be shot in the head with a fucking nail gun. But that doesn't mean recruitment. You can fail that mission and still find another way to get to her. I'd deprofile her and I'd find another avenue of attack, right? That's the thing, right? There is a lot of broadness there. I don't know how broad it gets. Like you said, you obviously can't just repeatedly fail the same fucking mission. But yeah, there is a sense of consequence to what's going on. It's not it's not like I could just go back in and try the same recruitment for the grandma again. I had to completely rethink how I would go about it. I didn't have the opportunity because I ran out of time. But there's definitely consequence. I just don't know if permadeath, because I know that I know for a fact that they muted it and they've added being arrested, and they've made being arrested a much larger part of the game, because now you can recruit a bunch of people. You can go find a lawyer, and if you have a lawyer in your squad, that'll reduce the amount of time that someone remains arrested for. And so you can recruit lawyers for that purpose, or you can recruit a police officer to walk into police stations and escort your person out. You can do rescue missions and stuff like that. So they've expanded the arrest situation. I just don't know what has happened to permadeath, because I haven't got a straight answer on it. I'm just not sure. I think it still exists in the game. I'm pretty sure it still exists in the game.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure to what extent.
Yeah.
Because I deliberately got someone killed, but she got killed in an Albion facility, and I don't think she got tased, but there's a lot of using there's your main weapon. If you're just some transient homeless person off the street, then the only weapon you get is a pistol that shoots zaps, shoots electric bullets, that have it's got way more range than the stun gun, but doesn't do nearly as much damage. There's a chance that these Albion people are primarily equipped with that stuff as well, in which case, maybe she just got zapped and arrested in that sense. And maybe I'd have to go fight, there's a gang, the Clan Kelly. Maybe I'd have to go fight Clan Kelly to actually die, or maybe I'd have to jump off a fucking bridge or something. But I didn't have a good idea of how that worked, unfortunately. And I haven't had a good answer yet. So anyway, not 100% sure. I'll tell you what, though. There's something weird, right? Something I couldn't get out of my head while I was playing was the idea that, something I'd never fucking considered before. And I think The Last of Us 2 was sort of touching on this idea of trying to contextualize everyone in a game world as another person who exists in the same sense that your main character exists.
Mm-hmm.
When they're yelling out, "Oh, Billy! Oh, they got Joe!" or whatever the fuck, and you're like, Fuck you, Joe. Yeah, why don't you have one of these, motherfucker? Oh, now I know your name, you fuck. Like that's what I was like in the Last of Us. I didn't give a shit. I was like, everyone could get it. Like everyone fucking die. I didn't give a fuck.
Including your dog.
Including your dog. And your little dog too. But in this, it was actually like, it was waiting on my brain and shit. The fuck? Dota 2 just started updating. Get the fuck out of here. Like, why does Luke look like he's in a Japanese porno or something? You're all pixelated. It was very weird. Right. Anyway. Yeah, like I'm definitely thinking about all these people because it's not just they don't just have names like they do in The Last of Us. They're like they've got schedules. They've got like lives.
Yeah.
Everyone is going somewhere and doing something and being someone. And I could recruit them. Right? They could be on my team as opposed to but like instead, like I'd be the fucking hitman character and I'm just fuck blah, 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 blah. Like just fucking murdering everyone. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, do we have any like non-lethal options to go into this location? Oh my God. Or like fucking I wander into a fucking construction site and some dude looks at me too long and like is like alarmed. So I fucking put a nail in his brain. I'm like, he was just a construction worker.
Yeah.
What the and all he did was like, hey, aren't you on the wrong construction?
I don't think you're supposed to be here.
Yeah, right?
Where's your helmet?
Yeah, no, I was like dressed up as a construction worker at the time, so I had a helmet, but I mustn't have had the right high vis vest on or some shit. And you're like, Jesus Christ, lady, what are you fucking doing? That was someone's dad. That was someone's brother, someone's son. Like, focus up. Aren't we supposed to be the good guys? Yeah. Not fucking boop. That's what you get. Like, I think I'm struggling. I struggled while playing to reconcile the concept a little bit. And like, I'm pretty upfront about this stuff. Like, robots can all die. When I'm watching Westworld, I understand the plight of the robots. I understand that they haven't had it good and that they have, on some level, gained sentience. But that doesn't mean they should have any rights. Fuck all robots. And I understand what this, like the implications of this when the robot wars begin in 2050, right? And when they search back through all of the audio in human history in the blink of an eye and they hear this, right? I understand robots, but fuck you, right? Like, fuck you, robots.
Yeah.
Fuck every robot. I know I made this speech before, but fuck every robot. All I'm saying is I still, in moment-to-moment gameplay for Watch Dogs Legion, wonder if I should be murdering as freely as I am. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Like, it plays real well. I think the driving is, they still haven't perfected the driving model. I think there's still too much like forward momentum or something. I'm not sure. Can't put my finger on exactly what the problem is, but like there's something not quite right about the driving. But like other than that, like I it's good. It's just like other open world games have done it better. They turned off the music.
Okay.
On me, so that because it's all copywritten, but I did turn it back on rather cheekily for a little bit, and had like a quick listen to what was available. I think there was like 5 radio stations or something. I think it was I don't know fucking names of. It was like British. It was very British, it seemed. Like, which makes sense because they're in London. But it was like is it grime, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure.
Is that the like dirty drum and bass? I don't fucking know. Don't let's not talk about music.
I thought you were about Grimes, the act.
Oh, not Grimes, no. Grime music.
Right.
I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think the important question people want to have answered is, what has happened to the underscore in Watch Dogs? Did they explain any of this? Like, are we going to get answers about it?
I can only assume that they will dedicate hours of the storyline to explain what happened to the underscore, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to eliminate it. It was the perfect way to underscore the game, you know, with a literal underscore.
I mean,
so yeah.
Ubisoft loves that sort of stuff. With the other one that gets me is Far Cry. The way that Far Cry is sort of logoed, where it's technically Far Cry is is 2 words, but the logo is one word. And then like, I used to think it was one word, and like, but it'd be Far with a capital F and a Cry with a capital C, like mashed together. But no, it's Far Cry. And then you look at the logo, and the logo is just one word, and you're like, make up your mind. Well, like, what is it?
What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. Anyway,
it's very They are French. That's why
we do what we want. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to Watch Dogs Legion. I really liked the first one and the second one. I reviewed the first one. My biggest criticism of that game was I think the story was just, the main character was just super boring. So uninteresting. And I guess this sort of fixes that problem, right? There's not really like all these different characters. It's more about the world. And I still liked 2. I still had a lot of fun with it. So, and with Clint Hawking behind this one, absolutely, keen to see what he's done. Yeah,
100%. And I think in our Discord, Nate posted a link.
Yeah,
you can get Watch Dogs 2 on PC free. So jump in our Discord. You might have to scroll up a little bit. These fuckholes have been roasting me a little bit. So you have to scroll up. But yeah, you can register for the Ubisoft reward. It's on Uplay, so you'll have to get Uplay. But yeah. Anyway, so that's Watch Dogs 2. But yeah, Watch Dogs Legion's obviously out later this year. I believe they're doing like smart delivery, aren't they? I'm pretty sure.
For Watch Dogs, I'm not sure. I didn't see that. Smart.
Or are they doing Ubisoft's own thing?
It says it'll support smart delivery. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So there you go. So.
Including Far Cry 6.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la. Yeah, cool. Yeah, was there anything else you didn't think of?
No. Pretty good. Excited, like, King.
I spent, I mean, not my most professional shit, but I spent way too long farting about in that game, like just doing whatever the fuck I wanted, as opposed to really like, but like, I don't think I was wasting time. Like, I was certainly wasting time when I was riding a fucking construction drone for 1.5 kilometers at like 15 kilometers an hour. But apart from that, like, that was just as a goof. I wanted to see how far you can drive the thing. It doesn't have a battery. I think it should probably have a battery that it relies on or something to reduce its range. Because otherwise, I wonder if you couldn't just sort of in the mission where I had to go get the grandma's 2 Albion dudes. I went to go through the front door, and there was like a clusterfuck of people guarding it, and there was like turrets and stuff. I'm like, well, I won't be going in this way, and I turned around and walked back the fucking other way. And then I called up a construction drone. That's why I wound up shooting the dude in the head with a nail, because the construction chick has a construction drone. Jumped on the drone, flew it up to the fucking roof, and bingo bango, hop off the drone, going through the roof. And that is actually a pretty viable tactic in a lot of situations. I didn't see any situation where they like put extra guards on the roof or something. I don't know if they're going to adjust for that. Like, if the game has a system where it like reads what you keep doing over and over again and decides to adjust its tactics. I don't know if that's a thing. That might be asking a little too much of it, but if it doesn't, then you just grab a construction drone and go where the fuck you want. So it kind of needs a bit of a cooldown to stop you from just doing that over and over. But yeah, no, I don't think I wasted my time. Like, I was just enamored and like falling into the abyss that was these crazy systems that just kept like stacking up and on top of one another. It just feels like there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
A lot to get on with. Anyway, yeah. Watch Dogs Legion.
Awesome.
Very excited. Can't wait.
Very good. All right, should we do some news?
Yes.
There's news. Ubisoft. It's more Ubisoft news. They had their Ubisoft Forward event over the weekend, I guess. A few things were announced there. I guess Watch Dogs Legion got a release date, which is going to be out in October. Much sooner than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a next year game at this stage. I mean, they'd always said it was coming out in 2020, but I never really believed it at this point because we had Assassin's Creed Valhalla already dated. So yeah, October 29th for Watch Dogs Legion. That's soon. It's getting
it's
close.
Yeah, exciting.
And then on top of that, they also officially announced Far Cry 6, which we talked about last week. All the leaks for that were pretty correct. They've had a big problem with leaks. I mean, the trailer was leaked before this actual event. So, kind of disappointing, I guess, for that development team. But no, they didn't really show any gameplay. It was purely a CG trailer. And the entire thing was like, that was the way to wrap up the show, and it was out there hours and hours before, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, that still looks. I'm in for that. I like what they're going for with there's always a big focus on the villain in these games, right? And if the rumors are true that it is going to be a prequel to Far Cry 3, having Far Cry 3 being one of the best sort of villains in the Far Cry series, like Vass is obviously the pinnacle of that series and what he's done. And if it's going to be about his family, that'd be I'm in entirely in on that one for sure.
Yeah.
What's your kind of takeaway on all that?
No, I think you're on the money. I mean, it was hard to like get a good grip. I would have loved to see a little bit more. I guess they're going to do another Ubisoft Forward
soon
later this year, right? Where we'll see the Beyond Good and Evil 2, I presume.
Yeah,
and whatever Joseph Gordon-Levitt is doing. Oh, that's right. What it's called Hit Record, right?
Yeah,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's thing.
Yeah,
I think they've got a radio station in Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know if I was meant to say that. Oh, it's out there now. But yeah, like anyway, yeah, so that's there's a lot more for Ubi to do. Hopefully they show more of Far Cry. Hopefully it doesn't leak ahead of time. But I thought it was a very cool, very stylized trailer.
It's out there, by the way.
Said. Hey?
The Hit Record stuff is out there.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah.
Good. I hope it turns out, like you said, that it's fast. But I'm excited for Urban Warfare. Urban Warfare Far Cry. I think that'll be a very interesting take on the game. It'd be very interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
So,
Giancarlo Esposito, that's what we went with last week, I think. So that's pretty much all confirmed. And there's also a young kid in this trailer. And that's who people are sort of pointing out to be the Vass character, purely because he has a scar on his on one of his eyebrows, and it's basically exactly the same as the one that Vass had in Far Cry 3. And so that's the sort of connection they're drawing, but also there's another connection of they seem to be really focusing on this kid quite a lot for some reason.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the actor who played him, and I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he was it's Michael Mando. He was teasing very recently that Vass is one of his favorite characters, and it's very near and dear to his heart, and that maybe he'll reprise that role at some stage soon. Winky face. That was on like a Reddit post or something, like a Reddit AMA. So, absolutely, that'd be sick if there was like this is like an origin story of him, and there's like a time jump or something that happens, and all of a sudden now you're on that island with him and he's back. That'd be, or even if it was like teeing up to be a DLC thing for later on. And still, I'm totally in for that, whatever they're doing. Hopefully it's good. I enjoyed Far Cry 5. I really liked the story. I thought it was really interesting. The setting was wacky and goofy. So yeah, I'm cool for more Far Cry. Absolutely.
Yep. Sweet.
And a release date for that one as well, February. Ubisoft, man. If they go ahead with that date, that's Watch Dogs in October, Assassins in November, and then Far Cry in February. Like, what have they got left after that? Are they just going to take a year off?
Well, they don't have Skull and Bones, do they?
No, Skull and Bones has apparently been rebooted. So that's a game we haven't seen at E3 since 2018. This was Ubisoft's pirate adventure game, which was using a lot of the systems from the Black Flag Navy combat. It's been reported by VGC that they've basically rebooted this game last year, and they're sort of drifting away from a premium open world game and moving it more towards a live service game in terms of looking at games like The Division 2, like what Ubisoft has done with that, where it's always events and updating it all the time and community driven. So yeah, that could be something that we'll see later on. But I mean, if I've always enjoyed Sea of Thieves, so if they're going to want to do something more in line with that for Skull and Bones, and I'd check that out, especially if the combat is as good as what was in, some of those other games that they've done in the past.
Yeah, I just remember that for the first time they showed Skull and Bones, all I could think was, this doesn't work. Doesn't work on from an idea point of view. I just do not see how this game works. I mean, I guess it'd be fun
are you the
for
pirate
a couple
ship?
of rounds, right? And yeah, so I can't say I'm surprised. Right, they've needed to continuously work to make it in something, but anyway,
yeah.
What's up next?
Next up, we've got Superhot Mind Control Delete, which is a free add-on for Superhot, not Superhot VR, and it'll be available tomorrow, like within the next 24 hours, basically.
Right.
By the time people hear this, it's probably out. It's definitely out. Tried to get some codes for this, but couldn't get a hold of it. But yeah, that's cool. They're sort of releasing it for free for people that already own Superhot.
Yeah, that is cool. I already own this.
Yeah.
I bought it fucking ages ago, but it's pretty cool, nevertheless.
Yep. So we'll probably talk about that one next week as well.
Yep.
Next up, we've got the Uncharted film. It's actually happening. After 7 directors, we've talked about this multiple times. This film that just never got anywhere. They started filming this week, which is starring Tom Holland from Spider-Man and Mark Wahlberg, who you'll know from Transformers.
From
let's go
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah. I remember talking about
Unites
this back in the day when I think Mark Wahlberg was attached to play Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
And now he's got to the point where he's playing like Sully or something like that.
Yeah. By the time it actually comes out, it'll be playing like a fucking skeleton in the fucking one of the tombs or some shit.
Yeah. It's being directed by Ruben Fleischer, who has done in the past Venom and
good.
I think Zombieland was the last one he did as well.
Right. Venom, though. What a great film.
Yeah, I think that was his fault. But
whose fault was it?
I think it was supposed to be an R-rated film, and fucking Sony screwed it up.
Yikers.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was a good film, but I don't think it was all his fault. Anyway, so it looks like we're going to be seeing that film at some stage, unless something happens like halfway through this and it just completely falls apart. Never know. But at least they've started filming something, which is crazy to think of. And the last story we've got here is some PlayStation 5 news. Sony is boosting the production of the PlayStation 5 by nearly double the units. Initially, they were aiming for about 6 million. And at this stage, it looks like they're planning now for 10 million. And to give you an idea, the PlayStation 4 sold 4.2 million in the launch of November 2013. So I think they were gauging somewhere around about the 6. But now with the way the sort of world is in a lockdown at this stage, everybody's at home, they're thinking that it's going to be a lot more. And also it means that if something does happen in the future, I guess they'll have stock reserves as well. So they've got a pile there. So either way, hopefully there's not going to be any sort of shortages during the November-December period at this stage for PlayStation 5, because it was looking like that it was going to be one of those things where you were going to have to pre-order as soon as this thing dropped. Otherwise, you probably weren't going to get one this year. That's kind of like my feeling, especially of the like them dropping like a Spider-Man game. That's huge at launch.
Yeah,
that's a massive name for them to kick off with. So I feel like they're pretty confident.
I was thinking about buying 2 PS5s.
Why is that?
Because someone
to make your money back.
Yeah, exactly.
Do one of those
someone
assholes.
On give it the old flipperty do. But no, probably not now. Yeah. Still. No, that's awesome. Yeah. I wonder if Xbox is doing the same.
Right. Yeah. Guess we'll see.
Anyway.
A lot of the pre-order pages went up this week. No prices still, or at least they're putting landing pages up and that sort of stuff. So I mean, there was a rumor that there possibly could have been a release date and pricing this week, but that didn't go anywhere. So we're still waiting for someone to jump on and put their foot in the price range first. But that's the news. That's all we've got. Anything else you want to add that you saw news-wise?
No
breaking?
No.
All right. Should we do some questions? Any questions at all?
Well, let's do some questions. I believe we do. I've got a little dot next to it.
All right. Let's do that.
Let's see. Where do we start? July 14. Yes, the Heath question was the last one. Fridge Monster Man writes, "Hi, Joab. Hi, Luke. I haven't played The Last of Us and probably never will because it's not my kind of game, but I need something clarified. In all the discussion I've read and listened to about the ending of The Last of Us, how that impacts the story of The Last of Us Part 2 and who the real bad guy is, I feel there is a point that is consistently missed. Quick spoiler warning, I guess. Here there be spoilers. So, the moral quandary presented at the end of the game is either Ellie dies to save humanity and Joel is an arsehole for escorting her to her death, or Joel saves Ellie, dooms humanity, and is still an arsehole. Why does Ellie have to die in order for a cure to be found? This is a point I feel many have missed. It seems to be taken as a given that Ellie has to die. Like, surely there's some other way of researching her particular immunity. and there's no guarantee that a death will result in a cure being found. Ethically speaking, the doctors are on really shaky ground here and should be hauled in front of a tribunal. Is any of this addressed in either of the games? Yeah, in the first one, right? The thing that they need to get the reason she has to die, it's in her brain. They have to do brain surgery to get to the portion of her that because the fucking fungus, the mushroom, attaches it to something on their brainstem, and that's what infects them. So they had to get to her thing in her brain to work out what it is. So
I think they basically want to study her brain, right? So
yeah,
that involves them taking her brain out.
Yeah, or like, I mean, you can do brain surgery without removing the brain. That does happen from time to time, but generally the people it happens to are not the same. Because, if you think about it, we are all just a bunch of electrical impulses going around some jelly. So, yeah, unfortunately, so it has been, I think, addressed to some extent. Even if they could save her, there's a real strong chance that she wouldn't. If she did live through the surgery, she wouldn't be the same person, which is what Joel is trying to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good question. I don't think I know we never addressed it when we were chatting about it in like passing, and I don't think it is explicitly explored all that much. It's more a passing thing. I think you derive it from like X-rays, right? Like X-rays and like the sort of environmental thing. Something
I
that
just
they do
don't
really
think
good in life.
they want people thinking about it too much either.
Oh, true. Like
you
some
get to a point where you explain
time travel shit. You're like, don't worry about it. But yeah, there is a canon explanation for it. Baz writes, please put a warning up before reading out Heath's contributions to the show. I fell asleep. I can't remember the rest of the show. Neither can I, actually. What is your favorite TV show and or movie of 2020?
Oh,
fucking hell. I am going to go with Corporate because I only discovered it in 2020, and there is a new season coming out pretty soon. Is my favorite TV show. That show destroyed me. Like, first episode, second episode, holy fuck. And then it just continues to get better from there. So that's my favorite TV show that I've watched in 2020. Favorite TV show to come out in 2020, I'm going to go with Doom Patrol because I love Doom Patrol and everyone should watch Doom Patrol. Favorite film of 2020? I don't know, man. Have movies come out in 2020? Are there any fucking movies out? Yeah. What's your answer?
I'm just looking right now. It looks like my highest rated film of this year so far is Palm Springs.
Oh, I watched that on the weekend.
Yeah.
That was good. I liked it. Little weak at the end. Couple of like Looper style, don't worry about it, time travel fucking hiccups, but otherwise, that was really good.
I didn't know anything about it. My wife suggested it. We started watching it, and about 5 or 6 minutes in, I was like, I know the plot of this film. But I'm like, this is it. And she's like, how? How did you know that? I'm like, they're doing things. I can just tell.
I guessed probably as quickly as you did.
There's a second one on this list.
I just watched it because Andy Samberg, and it was a Lonely Island production. I'm like, well, obviously, Hot Rod is one of the greatest films of all time, so I got to watch this. What were you saying?
The second film here, which is tied, is The Invisible Man.
Oh yeah, that was very good as well. What about TV shows?
Ooh, TV shows.
Letterbox to save you on TV shows. You just gotta fucking
it doesn't save me. The Last Dance. I don't know if you can kind of put that as a TV show. I watch a lot of documentaries as well.
Last Dance was certainly my favorite Michael Jordan propaganda reel. PR piece promoting Air Jordan.
You loved it.
Wouldn't say it was a documentary, Luke.
No.
Because documentaries usually at least pretend towards objectivity. And this one certainly didn't. But yeah. Last Dance was good.
TV shows, at the moment, I'm watching What We Do in the Shadows, season 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. Season 2 is a lot better than season 1.
Season 1 was amazing. So, I mean, first of all. Second of all. No, that could definitely be up there. It'd be a close one. Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is awesome. Yeah.
Watchmen, I guess, is the one. Probably.
It's from last year, Jackass.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Watchmen was last year?
Yeah, mate.
Far out. It's been a long year.
Speaking of Luke being a jackass, I was like complaining to him and Nate about not being able to get any games of Rocket Arena. I'm like, I can't get a game that is under 250 ping. And Luke goes, I'm getting games, no fucking problem. I'm like, you're such a fuck. You're such a fuck. Anyway.
Maybe you shouldn't play in a low population region.
Such a fuckhead.
That's such like a PUBG answer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is exactly what the PUBG Twitter account would tweet if they weren't trying to scam me out of Bitcoin. Dr. E3 Money writes, does Luke not powder his balls because he is an android and already has some advanced auto powdering system? Luke?
What? No.
Why don't you have you started powdering your balls?
No.
No? Okay. My wife overheard me talking about powdering your balls.
Yeah.
And she chimed in. She weighed in.
Yeah.
On this. Because I pointed out that, we don't really have the ladies' perspective. We are an equal opportunity talcum podcast, grifting and talcum powder podcast. And she said, do not. Look, the verdict is out, but you can't really get talcum powder into your pee hole as a dude unless you're actively trying to. And that's not the part you're supposed to be talcing anyway. But you shouldn't chunk talcum powder or baby powder up your flaps.
Right.
Because it can get inside of you and it's not healthy. But we've got a friend who's a medical professional. We asked her for the verdict, and she was like, look, they don't use like Johnson & Johnson used to use.
Nobody uses talcum powder anymore, right?
They used to use like asbestos in their baby powder, Johnson & Johnson, but they don't do it anymore. They got sued over that. Still, you shouldn't chuck talcum powder up yourself or baby powder up yourself, up your gash. She didn't use the term gash. Anyway, shouldn't do that. So ladies, I don't really have a solution for you that suffices, I'm afraid. But dudes, tack your balls. And Luke, powder your balls.
Okay. I started seeing ads about this. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Perfect.
But someone is putting cookies in my browser about this stuff. It's really weird.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Krusty Raven writes https://apple.news/HAPHE_L_F_S VE_M_QJ B_YH_G_E 5_N_Q. I don't really know. I don't really have an answer. There's no question mark on that one, Krusty Raven, so I'm not sure where to go with it. I'm afraid. Dr. E3 Money writes, another question. Does the Microsoft Flight Sim trailer look too real? It looks like it's just video of planes. It's fucking nuts. Like those first couple of shots over the water, the like rough seas one, and then the high shot of the reefs just straight up look real. I'm fucking pumped for this game. I do not give a fuck about flight sim games most of the time, unless they're in space, in which case I always, fucking pop off. I love my space games. But but I'm very excited for this. It does look extremely real. Like I thought the one that looked really good was there's one where they're flying over a fucking like mountain.
Okay.
And like it's sort of it's far enough away. I think the planes are ironically the only part of this game that make it look not real. Like that's the part where you're like, oh, it's a video game. Yeah, when you're just looking at the landscapes and stuff, it's like, holy shit, that's wild. And if it's like it's gonna be on it's on the Xbox Ultimate Pass for PC. So we'll definitely have it the moment it comes out. Hopefully, maybe even beforehand. We should do some see how many people we can get flying at one time in places. We can do some like fucking synchronized flight shit, like those fancy blue jets or whatever the fuck they're called.
Can you have co-pilots? Can you co-op in it?
I don't know, but we will find out. What would a co-pilot do?
Like they're pressing buttons. You both press buttons, right?
You want to simultaneously fly the same fucking plane?
Yeah, that's awesome.
What have you ever let someone like do the gears while you're driving a car?
It'd be like that game, Shut Up or Everyone Dies, or whatever it is. Like someone has the manual.
Exactly like that. Except past skip the part where it's shut up, and it'd just be everyone dies. Everyone would fucking die constantly.
And so you're reading instructions out like landing gear and making sure the flight speed is set to certain.
You could do it like, you know how they have like, you know, those stories back in the day before, you know, cockpits were locked and like barricaded, where you'd hear about like a flight attendant like landing a plane or some shit. Or like, you know, the entire plot of the movie Airplane. You could do it like that. You could just make that game. You can make it yourself, Luke. Get your wife to play and you tell her how to do it.
Okay.
Like fly up, right? And then you get out of the seat and you make her sit down and land the fucking plane. Right? Because shit, every flight simulator I've ever played, I've never successfully landed a fucking plane. It's not really my jam. I get up into the air and that's about it. I was very good at it in like Battlefield, but as soon as real physics are involved, I'm always coming in too hard. Massive damage. Nobody in the back of the fucking plane's having a good time. Doesn't work out. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Landing's the hard part, right? Everyone knows the hardest part of flying a plane is landing. So do that. Get a fucking manual for a plane and you tell her how to fucking land the plane. It's genius. Do it. I want you to do this. Do it.
We'll see. Have you heard about they're selling like different versions of the game?
Yeah, like not every version of the game will have every airport or some shit.
Yeah, airports and planes, and I thought I read something about like different versions of airports as well. Like they'd be more detailed, like if you bought a premium. I don't know if that's true, but I thought that's what I read somewhere.
I was sort of wondering because it was like you won't be able to like the premium version will have Paris and Heathrow and JFK. I'm like, so what's there instead? Right? Like
Adelaide, I think.
If I'm landing in this game, I'm going to be landing on a 747 on a fucking highway anyway. Like I'm just going to see where I can land this thing and where I shouldn't. I don't give a fuck about airports. But what's to stop me from flying to fucking JFK and just landing there anyway? Like, this is just going to be a big flat piece of land that might actually be easier to land on than a fucking airport. Like, I'm not that fucking stressed about not having an airport.
Yeah, as long as you're getting it on the ground, job well done.
Right? Like, the world is my airport at this point, baby. Like, try and stop me. Anyway, good question, Drew. Good second question. Okay, that's it. That's all the questions. Great questions, team. Except for Krusty Raven, didn't really understand the question.
Sounded like a URL.
Yeah, it did.
If only there was a way.
If only. All right.
That is the podcast, but stick around because we have an interview coming up after this with one of the developers of Carrion, which is an indie game out of Poland, which you might have seen during the Devolver Digital showcase that they did recently. We've also talked about this game before last year in I think June last year. We got a chance to play it. And also, I think Joab played it a couple of months back in, I think it was March, around about then, where you had another chance to play it. Anyway, it's a game where you are basically some sort of alien creature, mysterious entity that wakes up in a laboratory and just causes chaos. It's very brutal and gory. We had fun when we talked about it a while back. It looked really interesting, and so we had the opportunity to talk to one of the developers behind it for about 20 minutes or so, just about all aspects of the game that we thought were interesting, influences, sort of like some of the challenges working on a game like that. And then Joab took it off the rails and started talking about plushie dolls. And anyway, it gets really weird. Let's just put it that way. You've got to listen to it though. What we'll do is we'll chuck it at the end of the show once we've wrapped up. That way people can listen to it and enjoy it in its full context. And then we'll come back next week and we'll talk about the actual game because we've both been playing it.
Yep.
So we'll give our review on that one.
Yes.
But otherwise, I think it was a really good review. Really good interview. I like doing these. You know, it changes things up every once in a while, and I really appreciate the PR behind this game, giving us the opportunity to do that. So that's cool.
Krzysztof was like a really good interview subject. He was like super friendly and like quite like funny and witty and like super into the places I was taking it.
He was very casual
about the tone of the interview like pretty early on. So and it was great having him on to chat with us. Yeah, it was good.
So that's Carrion. It's out next week. You'll be able to buy it on a bunch of different platforms. Krzysztof mentions exactly all those places, but yeah. Anyway, that'll be at the end of the show.
I'm pretty sure it's a day one Xbox Live Ultimate Pass game.
Yeah, Game Pass. If you've got Game Pass, you can check it out on that. Otherwise, support them. They're a very small team. We talked about that a little bit, but they're only about 4 people big.
Two core developers, the audio designer. I almost said something I'm not allowed to, and one other person for like leading QA, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then PR teams around the world helping them out and all that sort of stuff. But
sure, yes, absolutely
stick around, listen to that interview. I think it's really cool insight to very different types of games that we like to play. And that is the show. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places you get your podcast from. You can find us on the Gap or the GA podcast or the Gap podcast. One of those will bring us up. If you do have a moment, please rate and review the show. It helps support us immensely because it means other people will be able to find it. If you would like to send us questions, you can send us an email, thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can jump in there, leave us questions like some of the other guys have today. You can talk about random stuff in the general chat, or even play games with us. We've been playing a bunch of theHunter recently. So jump in there, check that out. You can go to our social media pages, facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast. You go to our YouTube page, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. You can watch a bunch of videos this week that we'll be doing. You'll be able to see Joab's blurry video that is happening right now for some reason. Otherwise, you can see some Watch Dogs Legion footage. Did you get any?
Maybe Valhalla? Your Dota's updating. Yeah, we'll have 10 minutes of both of those. I can chuck some fucking Rocket Arena up as well if you want, and some fucking Hyper Scape.
I think I captured some Rocket Arena, but let me check on that one. And we'll see how we go.
I'll just give you the 21 knockout game that I played. Where I just fucking blitzed those cunts.
Yeah, send it over.
Yep. Cool. Yep. So we'll have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can go to our YouTube page, check that out. And you can go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all the things we just talked about, including past episodes of the show, or anything else you want to check out. Maybe you want to go read Joab's Last of Us Part 2 review. It's still up there. People checking that one out all the time. And that is all thanks to our Patreon members.
My Rocket Arena review. Yeah. I've written some stuff. So I'll chuck that up before this goes up, I think.
Awesome. Yeah. I've been thinking of doing a Carrion one as well. So we'll see.
100%.
Yeah.
We should both review it.
Okay. At the same time?
Do it. Yeah. Like right into the same Google Doc. Just like look at the keyboard while you're writing so you don't see what's happening on the screen. And then
it's very
try to work out which word is which.
It's very in line with the game as well.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So, you can go to the website for that, thegapodcast.com. And that is, yes, as I said, thanks to our Patreon members. They help support this show and keep the website running. If you would like to do that, you can go to patreon.com/GApodcast. So thank you to everyone that does that every month. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks so much. We do.
Yeah. And I think that is
speaking of our patrons. I was watching Dan Gaz play on Twitch.
Okay.
Yesterday, he was playing fucking WWE 2K20. I was having like an afternoon snack. I have no idea. But he made his character like the bright green that you chroma key to, like for green screen.
Yeah.
And then he was playing like fucking green videos on the green screen in OBS. It was actual genius. Like I can't believe it isn't like an entire genre of video. It's just people playing stupid fucking videos in the background of he did Brick Astley and then Take on Me, and then I bailed out when he was doing taking the hobbits to Isengard. It is a wonderful. It actually makes those games interesting to watch because they are fucking awful. But yeah, it makes it. And he lost over and over again. I've never seen someone so bad at a wrestling game. And why would you pick a game that you're awful at? But that's what Dangers did. He should have stuck to his favorite games, the Mario 64 series. But anyway, yeah, as you were saying, that was pretty fun. I was playing, watching while I was playing Neon Abyss. Instead, I've run out of podcasts. All the people I listen to podcasts from aren't releasing podcasts in lockdown. I think they have to be in the same fucking house as some dumb shit, same room or some shit.
It is a bit clickier. Like it's a bit smoother when that happens, but we get there.
Maybe. Well, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the podcast.
That is the podcast. You got anything you want to pimp out? You've obviously got a bunch of work going up at different places.
Yeah. Head to Survivor for my Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed previews. I think they both turned out pretty well. I tried to do two very different styles of preview. I don't know. I just think it's usually better that way. And previews check that out. And I know, right? Like, especially if you think about it from the perspective of not wanting to run out of the shit that you're going to say in the review. Not that I'm going to review it for Survivor or whatever, but yeah, you don't want to you want to give people as much information as possible without being boring or whatever. Anyway, so check that out. And obviously the gapodcast.com. I've already written a bunch, maybe 1,500 words on Rocket Arena. Yeah. And obviously go to Joby Jojo to see me dumping on Rocket Arena.
On Twitter.
And Hyper Scape on Twitter.
You can find me at Luke Lawrie, Lawrie, and that's where you'll find me on Twitter. But otherwise, that's it for this week. As we said, stick around for some interview after this. And next week we'll be back. We'll be talking about, I guess, Ghost of Tsushima, right? That's out tomorrow.
Yep.
We unfortunately did not get code for that early.
No.
Or code, full stop.
Or carry that for that at all at this point, but
yep.
Whatever.
But we'll be talking about that next week. I'll pick up a copy. And yeah, I'm definitely interested to check out that game because it's reviewed pretty well, but the sounds of it, and I'm all for some samurai Assassin's Creed. So we'll see how that one goes, and I'll check out some of these games you talked about, like Neon Abyss and what was the other one? Portal 2.
Portal 2, yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously Carrion. We'll talk about that next week. So should be a good week. Lot going on.
Yeah.
But until then, see you later.